Just past the quarter mark of the season, the expansion Edmonton Oil Kings are hanging tough in the ultra-competitive Central Division. 5 of the 6 teams have a record of 500 or better, including the Dubs' newest club. The one team on the outside looking in is Red Deer. The Rebels have managed just 1 win in their last 13 games and are desperately looking to find a way to get back on track. Drop everything, it's time to suit up. Strauss-Herb WHL Hockey on Shaw is next.
Good evening and welcome to Strauss-Herb WHL Hockey on Shaw. I'm your host, Dan Elliott. If the Edmonton Oil Kings have any expectations of making the playoffs, now is the time for them to put their plan into action. Thanks to WHL schedule makers, the Oil Kings play 18 of their next 21 games on home ice. And if any of them are close, look for Edmonton to pull off the victory. They are 6-0-1-3 in 1-goal games this year. In contrast, it has been a year to forget so far for the Red Deer Rebels. With just 5 wins in 25 games, Red Deer fans have had very little to cheer about. Why, you might ask? Well, just look at the stats. The Rebels have given up the 3rd most goals in the league, and when it comes to their own scoring, they rank 19th out of 22 teams. The latter stat being a little more understandable considering they lost 4 of their top 5 scorers from last season. With more on tonight's matchup, time now to check in with Dan Russell and Bill Wilms, who are standing by at Rexall Place in Edmonton.
Thanks, Dan. Welcome to Northern Alberta. That's Wayne Gretzky Drive in the shadows of Rexall Place. Just down the road, they open up Mark Messier Trail. 90 minutes down the road is Red Deer, and they're making their first ever visit to play the Oil Kings as we bring you inside Rexall Place. And Bill, it's a Red Deer team that has been struggling. They're a young team, but they've added 2 new players.
Yeah, you know, and very quickly, too, they're finally getting a chance to go to home after 6 games on the road. This is their 6th tonight. But these are the 2 acquisitions that they made in the last couple of days. I think they're good ones. I think Brennan Sawney, a 20-year-old from Everett, is going to do a good job for this hockey club. He's cantankerous. He can play the tough stuff. Dan, Matt Strong is a young defenseman, a 17-year-old that I think is really going to thrive under the coaching of Brian Sutter.
And their go-to guy is the nephew of Brian Sutter. That's Brandon Sutter on your left, and he's a first-round draft pick.
Well, you're looking at the 11th player taken in the National Hockey League draft last year. You're looking at the biggest of all the Sutter boys, and you're looking at possibly the best 2-way forward in the WHL. 22 goals, 20 goals, 8 so far this year. Brennan Sawney, Dan, you're only allowed 3 20-year-olds. They got to be leadership guys. This is an energy guy. He'll provide it. If it moves, he'll try to hit it. That's 2 good acquisitions.
Well, he is on the move, and the trade was shocking to him. He admitted that. But here's what he had to say about the adjustments of coming to a new team.
Yeah, anytime you go from one team to another, you don't really know anyone, new city, you don't know how to get around, so all sorts of stuff. It's just different. The biggest adjustment is time. You need your time to meet the guys, learn your way around. That's the biggest problem.
All right, let's turn our attention now to the Edmonton Oil Kings. When last we saw them, it was the opening night. They had that buzzer-beating goal against Kootenay, and they've off to a pretty good start, but they've been on the road a lot lately.
6 on the road, first time home. They play 18 of the next 21 at home. They're going to pay for it, folks, at the end of the season. We'll tell you about it later. Couple key guys for this hockey team. Dan, you loved Robin Figren last year. In fact, I was a little surprised he was let go in the expansion draft by the Hitmen. You got to be a big producer for this hockey club, Figren does. He's got 18 points in 18 games played. He leads the team. And you know what? He's hot. 10 points his last 7 games played. How about Jeff Lee? Another one of those growing list of NCAA players that are coming back to the Western Hockey League, making this sort of their #1 choice to play.
All right, Steve Clough is the head coach of the Edmonton Oil Kings, and he's well aware of 18 of the next 21 at home and the possibility of making some pretty good hay in the standings.
Well, I think so. I mean, you've got to take advantage of your home games and use the necessary rest. You're not on the bus a lot, so. But we also don't want to put added pressure on our guys. We want to make sure that we're playing loose, and you know, as long as we're in the playoff hunt for the remainder of the year, we'll be happy. I'm not going to say that we want this many points or that we want to be here or there. As long as we're competing and we give ourselves a chance every night, then you know, we'll be happy.
And the Oil Kings bench boss will go with Alex Archibald in goal tonight against Morgan Clark as we send it back to you, Dan, at WHL Central.
All right, thanks, guys. Now, the Rebels may have just 5 wins on the season, but one of them did come against the Oil Kings back on September 25th, their lone meeting of the season so far. Red Deer won at 4-3 in a shootout. Landon Ferraro had the winner that night. All right, stick around. The drop of the puck is coming up next, right here on Strauss-Herb WHL Hockey on Shaw. Welcome back to WHL Central. The drop of the puck coming up in just a moment. Should mention 6 other games around the league tonight. One game already underway. That's Brandon Wheat Kings leading the Prince Albert Raiders 1-0 in the first. Del Cowan, his first career WHL goal, is the lone one in this one. Also going on tonight, the top team in the Eastern Conference, the Regina Pats, take on the defending Dub champions, the Medicine Hat Tigers. Elsewhere, Seattle is in Calgary to take on the Hitmen. The Prince George Cougars, they've given up the most goals this year, 96 against. They're trying to change that as they play Tri-City. Kelowna and Kamloops hooking up in a BC division battle. Of course, the Loops, 2 straight wins with new head coach Greg Hoggood. And the one other game tonight, Chilliwack taking on Everett. Of course, the Silvertips making that trade, picking up Clayton Bowers. He came from Red Deer. They're trying to get things going after a bit of a shaky start. All right, time now to send it to the rink. That, of course, would be Rexall Place in Edmonton, where Dan Russell and Bill Wilms are eagerly standing by.
Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Oh, very, very well done here in Edmonton. There is Erin McConnell, a youngster singing the national anthem. I didn't catch her age. I think they said she was 7 years old. And she did a wonderful job here at Rexall Place.
And it's just another person I have to cross off my list. I can't even beat her.
Let's look at the Red Deer bench. And as we said, they are struggling these days. Red Deer are 1 win in their last 10 games. They come into tonight's action with 5 wins in 25 starts.
A lot of young kids over there, 14 rookies, 12 still midget age.
And the Edmonton Oil Kings, we mentioned they're back home, and they come into this game with an even 500 record. You can see in their last 10 games they're about that as well. The officials for tonight's game, Ryan Agar, 29 years old from Sherwood Park in his 4th year, an electrician by trade, and Graham Skilleter is 23 years old. He's from Lethbridge, and he's working his 2nd year in the Western Hockey League. Red Deer in the white jerseys going left to right, and the Edmonton Oil Kings in the home darks. In the Western League, they switch halfway through the season. The home team will start wearing white after the midway point of the WHL season. So Red Deer gets the puck into Edmonton territory, and giving chase there is Brandon Sutter right on those boards. Keeping the puck in was Sawney. So right away on his first shift, he gets the puck to Sutter, not a bad idea, and then his centering pass deflected out of play.
Strauss-Herb WHL on Shaw is brought to you by the Strauss-Herb Company of Products. Trust the tradition.
You know, the keys for success sometimes for either teams, whether you're expansion like Edmonton or a youth team like Red Deer, is to have players that can do a bit of everything. You know, that does provide you some depth. And if they're low maintenance kids, you know, they know where to be without the puck. That's important. You're not always coaching position stuff.
Edmonton forcing the puck out. J.D. Watt, number 11 for Red Deer, the former Vancouver Giant, trying to keep the puck in. Van de Mosseler sends the puck to the Red Deer line, but no deeper. Watt gets the puck back again for Red Deer. He flips it just inside the blue line, and this is Swaby with the puck for Edmonton. His long pass broken up nicely, and here comes Brennan Ray. Ray to J.D. Watt, standing in front of the net is Carter Smith, but he can't get him the puck, and the puck is forced out back into Red Deer territory. And in fact, an icing called on Edmonton.
You take a look at this Edmonton Oil King team, boy, they've got some kids that are fairly confident. I'll tell you why. Robin Figren's 10 goals, that's as many as he had last year in Calgary. Brett Brightcruz has got 8 goals. That's as many as he had all last year in Kelowna. Brendan Dowd, 5. That's as many as he had in Kamloops. You know, even Corey Pieper, who's not playing tonight, his 5 goals, he had 4 last year in Red Deer. But, you know, it's going to be tough tonight because they're playing one of the toughest checking teams in the entire WHL. And any team that's got a setter behind the bench, you know, is going to check.
There's a long shot from the face-off after Carter Smith won the draw. Now Brennan Ray puts the puck back at the Edmonton goal. Polak goes into the corner to try to move it in front. Good job there by Swaby to keep him to the outside. Smith tries to center it, comes back to Lewis at the blue line, but it's forced out nicely by Bright Cruz. And the Oil Kings able to get it to the neutral zone. Redicke will flip the puck in. But only for a moment as Red Deer is able to get the puck back out again. And back to get it is Tyler Blukov. 17-year-old from Castlegar has lots of room to move the puck. He got it up to Bright Cruz, but he's checked nicely as Red Deer's controlling the first couple of minutes here, jumping on loose pucks. Oil Kings from inside their line. They'll try it again with Blukov. As he plays it off these near boards, it may be another icing. Is fast ice and new ice. They've had the rodeo in here. New ice just put in on Monday. Icing called on Edmonton.
Well, if you're a fan or involved at all of the Red Deer Rebels, you got to look at their last 5 road games as either, I guess, a glass half full or half empty. Red Deer only scored 10 goals, but typical Sutter fashion, they only gave up more than 3 goals one time. So, you know, if you like to play without the puck, it was pretty good, but boy, this is a team in Red Deer that would sure love to score some goals.
As Bill mentioned, finishing a 6-game trip, they did return after their home game in Vancouver. Lost 4-5 in the BC division, but 2 of them went extra time. Those bonus points that they got. Falling inside the line there is Dallas Jackson, but he gets up and moves the puck to center, and it's flipped in. Giving chase is Brennan Sawney. But Edmonton quickly on the puck, and here's Saskowicz. Not only hitting the line, but chasing the puck himself. He's being checked by Egner, and Egner does a nice job to get Saskowicz off the puck, and back comes Brandon Sutter. Sutter chasing that puck into the corner. Stamler trying to check him. The 2 captains battling each other for the puck. Oil Kings get it, shoot it out to center ice. Luke Egner, former Vancouver Giants, sending it down the ice. No icing. Seapack back to get it. Seapack, Montreal Canadiens draft pick, hits the puck up to Fegren, who shoots it into Red Deer territory. Very cautious start here, at least from an Oil King standpoint. We haven't had anything really resembling a scoring chance by either team as we near the 4-minute mark.
No, and yet you can see Red Deer has had a number of chances in the offensive zone, at least to create something, but it looks like it's an offensive zone penalty. Is it J.D. Watt going off? You can't do that. You've had a lot of the play. You've been pretty solid on the forecheck. J.D. Watt just makes contact that puts him in the box, and right now this Oil King team goes back on the power play. He's one of the leaders, J.D. Watt. There's that stick up there. You know, he does it twice. It's just not a smart move that. You got the stick up high and then also low, and you're not going to get away with it. You're never get away with it once, let alone twice.
So Edmonton to the power play, and their special teams look like a first-year team. They're 19th on the power play. They're 20th on the penalty kill. And Red Deer's penalty kill is ranked 50. So we'll see how this shakes down. As a long shot from the line. That was taken by Seapeck, was knocked down in front. Still waiting for the first shot on goal in this game. Lockerbie from the line, dishing it up to Vinsor. Back for Lockerbie, winding up, shooting it, and there's your first save. Morgan Clark saw it through traffic, took it in the chest. Oil Kings jump on the rebound, shot, knocked down. Here's a chance for Vinsor, and that's stopped by Clark. Now Red Deer on these near boards. Looked like they had a chance to get it out, but Egner was checked off the puck. Vinsor plays it back to the net, and now it's centered in front of the goal, intercepted, and Penny sends it down the ice. That'll give Red Deer a chance to make the change.
Vinsor has been very, very good for this Edmonton Oil King team. 16-year-old Dan Vinsor is still 16 from the Czech Republic. He turns 17 in 5 days. How do you like to make that kind of move all the way over here as a 16-year-old? New country, new language, new style of hockey.
But he could get a driver's license here.
Yeah.
Oil Kings setting up with Redicke, but not very well, as Redicke just couldn't handle the puck at the line. Forced out. There's another trip that's going to put Red Deer 2-man short, as that call at the blue line, an easy one to make. And we'll have a 2-man advantage here for 27 seconds.
Well, I think they're dumb penalties, to be honest with you. I didn't like the offensive zone penalty all that much, and probably like this one even worse. How can you put your stick on the player like that, take it to the ice? That just doesn't make any sense as Mike Kurgovich puts his team down 2-man. That two-man, or is it just a one-man still? No, it's a two-man advantage. Face-off in the offensive zone.
Yeah, and if they win the face-off Edmonton, they'll have time to set up on this two-man power play, but some confusion over at the timekeeper's bench, so they'll sort that out over there.
Morgan Clark, goaltender, 2 wins, 10 losses, 89.2 save percentage. Clark started the last 3 games at Kelowna, at Chilliwack, and at Vancouver. Well, that's what he says about the kind of goaltender he is.
I'm not really, I don't know. Some people call it butterfly style. I don't know if that's really a style, considering most goalies play a pretty similar way. But I don't know. I'd say that it's just a combination of instinct and technique and, I don't know, just competing and battling out there.
You know, his dad, Ian Clark, is a goaltender coach for the Vancouver Canucks. Works obviously a lot with Roberto Luongo. Done a terrific job with Luongo. Morgan Clark, 17, born in Texas. That was when his dad, Ian, was working with the Dallas Stars.
Well, they're having trouble getting the penalty on the clock. That's why we had a little bit of a delay here, but we know Kirkovich is in the box. And tripping penalty coming exactly at the 5-minute mark. So I'm not sure if they're going to drop the puck or not.
Well, J.D. Watt's got 27 seconds left in his. Is that not right?
That's right, but the problem is they don't have the second.
They don't have it up there, so it'll be a 2-man advantage for this Edmonton Oil Kings team for 27 or less, and they've had a little trouble scoring goals.
Had a good look there at Brian Sutter at the Red Deer bench, and we'll go through that as the telecast moves along. But Brian, in his first year behind the Red Deer bench, his brother Brent coached 9 years, then took the New Jersey job. He's still the owner. You know, there's probably daily contact between Brent and the organization while he coaches New Jersey, as the faceoff is won by Edmonton on this 2-man advantage. And here's Fegren dishing it off. In front of the net is Bright Cruz. They're banging at the puck. Clark is holding it. There's no whistle. It took a long time for that whistle. And finally they get it. And the faceoff will go deep in Red Deer territory.
You know, even if you're 2-man advantage, I can tell you one thing. You're going to have to battle real hard if you're the Edmonton Oil Kings to get by those guys checking in front. That is Red Deer doing a real good job. Look at Sutter in front of the net. He's there, basically a pretty good job of boxing out. Even though that puck ends up in the crease area, this is a tough checking Red Deer team. You're going to have to really overpower some of those defensemen to get to those loose pucks.
Red Deer wins the faceoff, but they don't get it out. Held in nicely by Lockerbie, who moves in and scores! Brendan Lockerbie blasting it home. 3rd of the year on a 2-man advantage. Still 2 seconds left in the J.D. Watt penalty, so the Oil Kings will stay on the power play after opening the scoring.
Well, the face-off, they just don't get it out. They win the face-off draw, Dan, but they rim it around the boards, and that's Lockerbie doing a good job right there. That puck bounces perfectly forward to his forehand. Usually with a 2-man advantage, you get goals going cross ice, side to side. You don't get a lot from the point. Here's the shot. This is what Clark had to see. You know what, that shot, he had a good view of it. I think it just overpowered him. Went over top of his glove side, upper corner. Real good look at it. Power play goal for the Oil Kings. They lead 1-0.
Brandon Lockerbie, the former Brandon Wheat King, scoring the first goal of this game at 5:25 on the power play. As mentioned, they stay on the man advantage, though that penalty is not on the clock. And let's pick up the announcement.
By number 11, Brendan Lockerbie.
Well, he gets pretty excited about it.
Goal at 5:25. Power play goal.
That is good. Unassisted goal as they set up again on the power play. Here's Redicke moving in on the wrist shot. That's deflected off the target. Brendan Dowd, number 15. J.P. Saskowicz, number 16, going in there. And Fegren rather, is 23. Fegren puts it back in the net for Dowd. Now Dowd passing nicely to Stamler. His shot stopped, and the big healthy rebound just out of the reach of Dowd. Stamler, Fegren, Saskowicz. Here's Stamler as they work it around nicely, and that shot by Redicke tips out of play.
Redicke is having himself just one heck of a year. He was a surprise at camp, and he hasn't disappointed through 22 games played. This kid here from Regina is second on the team in scoring, and he was Edmonton's first trade acquisition when they got him from Regina. Played 2 excellent seasons of midget hockey and just has really not missed a beat, bringing that game right here to the Western Hockey League level.
His 15 points puts him number 4 among WHL rookies so far this season. As we continue to watch the power play, although we don't know officially the amount of time left. CPEC from the line. Now it's Lockerbie. Back to CPEC, winding up, shooting it, scores! In front of the net was McCallum. He might have tipped it. 2-0 Oil Kings.
Another shot, another bullet from the point. Cameron CPEC, Montreal Canadiens drafted that kid after only seeing him 21 times in that season with Portland. This is just playing catch back and forth at the line. CPEC slides to the middle. That shot, I'm not sure whether that's deflected on the way to the net or not. I don't think it matters. It ends up in the back of the net. Clark, I don't think had a real good view of it. Terrific start. Probably just what this Oil King team would love to get, playing at home here for the first time after 6 in a row on the road.
By number 7, Cameron CPEC.
Well, for now, it's CPEC's goal.
The assist to number 11, Brandon Lockerbie. And to number 29, Brett Cruz. Time of the goal.
So the scoring plays at 6:56. 2 goals, both on the power play. Edmonton has the first 7 shots on goal. It is a good start, Bill, but the one thing about their start, if J.D. Watt doesn't take the foolish offensive zone face-off or penalty, it may be a different start altogether.
It's exactly what I was going to say, Dan. I mean, it was really lack of discipline. The Watt penalty to start with, in that second tripping penalty at the blue line, after I thought Red Deer came out here and established some decent play in the offensive zone in terms of a forecheck, and all of a sudden they go on the penalty kill with really, I think, just a lack of discipline. And boy, did the Oil Kings make him pay for it. Up 2-0 for Edmonton.
Red Deer did not get a shot, but for the first 3.5 minutes, the puck was right where it is right now. And when J.D. Watt took the penalty, he was 200 feet from his own goal. And he's a 20-year-old, and you don't like to pick on on players, but at 20 years old, he's one of the guys I'm sure they count on to not make that mistake.
Yeah, you got to play smart. Man, as a 20-year-old, there's only 3 of them. You've got to be a really, really smart goaltender. You see the save by Alex Archibald? He was asked, what kind of style does he emulate? Who does he try to copy his game after? You may be surprised at his answer.
I think the goalie that I would most try to emulate myself is Carey Price. I guess I saw him enough last year to see how good technically he is. But I watch a lot of hockey and I watch a lot of goalies and just try to take stuff from everybody's game, I guess, and apply it to my own.
You saw Carey Price a lot while playing for Chilliwack versus the Tri-City Americans. And here's another chance for Edmonton right on the doorstep. Brent Reddicky is stopped by the other goalie, Morgan Clark. More pressure by Edmonton. Another save by Clark off Reddicky. A couple backhands. Archibald, the expansion team goaltender 2 years in a row and got opening night victories 2 years in a row. For Chilliwack last year in the standalone home opener against Kelowna, and this year against Kootenay, where Edmonton scored with a second to go. Here's another Red Deer penalty coming, as tripped in the corner there was Thomas Vinsor. Lockerbie's 3rd backhand of this shift. That might be a Western League record, as Lockerbie had 3 backhand attempts on goal. You don't see that all the time. But here comes the penalty on Red Deer.
Scott Doucette, I think, is the guilty party on that. 24 white. First contact with the stick on a slash, and then he follows his stick up by taking the player's feet from underneath him. I mean, I don't know about you, Dan, but to me, those are pretty obvious penalties. I think Brian Sutter knows that. He's got to be thinking to himself, what are you doing? You want to play hard, guys, but you got to play smart.
So Edmonton sets up for their 3rd power play, 2 for 2, and Stamler lets it go. They're having some success with these point shots. And you know what? He didn't miss by much. Breton Stamler occupying the left point position. Fegren dishing the puck to Dow. Dow back for Fegren. Inside of the net shot. Clark had to get back there quickly. He did. And the puck is shot down the ice by Red Deer.
They've done a nice job, the Edmonton Oil Kings have, of shooting from the point. I don't know if they're getting a lot of traffic in front or not, but I think the 2 goals certainly Clark did not see.
Puck put back of the Red Deer goal.
Or didn't move fast enough on him. Maybe it was that. Maybe it was a little velocity on those shots.
Mark Lewis can't get the puck out. Redicke. He dishes the puck over there for Saskowicz. Saskowicz tries to give and go. Now he's standing in front of the net waiting for the puck. Instead, the Oil Kings are going to work it along these boards as Fegren plays it to Lockerbie. They're announcing a minute to go in the power play because the penalty clock is not working as Fegren takes the pass. Fegren dishes it back to Dowd. Fegren gets it again. He and Dowd play a little bit of catch. Now a wrap-around attempt by Dowd, and Clark is there, but the puck is still loose, and it's poked just wide. Fegren jumps on the loose puck. Robin Fegren winds up, shoots. Clark takes that one up high. That's the 10th shot he's faced, and now the puck's knocked down with a high stick, and the face-off will come all the way out.
Boy, that's an awful lot of room for this Edmonton Oil King team to work on that power play. Fegren, with that shot, he could have walked in another 5 or 6 feet. I think Coach Plo's got to be pretty happy. I know he had some concern about his power play not being all that sharp for parts of the last little while, but they've worked well tonight with the 2 goals, and they lead 2-0. Face-off now comes all the way back into the Edmonton zone, but it looks like Morgan Clark's got some stick problem or some mass problem. Anyway, he's okay as he goes back.
Steve Plo, the son of Larry Plo, the St. Louis Blues GM. Steve was an assistant in Spokane last year. Has quite a bit of coaching experience despite his young age.
30 seconds remaining on the power
Half minute to go on the power play as Brandon Lockerbie gloves down the puck, and the Oil Kings will start out of their own zone. Heading towards the net is Jeff Lee. We haven't called his name yet, but he's one of the newcomers we were talking about off the top of our show. He wears number 10 for Edmonton. A short-handed chance is gloved down by Archibald. That was Brennan Ray taking the harmless-looking shot from the circle. Penalty almost over. Edmonton will go 2 for 3 in their first 3 power play opportunities. And as they shoot the puck in, Lee goes after it, gets it, throws it in front, and Clark makes a fine save. I think it went off him and then the screen. We'll maybe have a look at that when we come back. 2-0. Oil Kings lead the Rebels. You're watching the Western Hockey League from Edmonton on Shaw. At the Edmonton bench is assistant coach Rocky Thompson. What a power play you have this season, Rocky.
Well, I wouldn't say it's this season. We've been struggling a little bit as of late, but it looks like the guys are a little bit focused here, and they put some nice passes together, and we're able to get some goals there.
Rocky, how did you like the play of your team on the recent road trip?
I thought we were pretty good. I thought we battled really hard. Our work ethic has been there, and we were starting to get rewarded. Unfortunately, I think we could have done a little bit better than what we did on the road, but we're happy nonetheless.
Nice start here. Keep it up there.
Thanks very much, boys.
Thanks, Rocky. Rocky Thompson, assistant coach to Steve Flo down there in the Edmonton bench. His team up 2-0 with 8.5 minutes to go in the opening period. 2 power play goals, a minute and a half apart. No, we were joking a little bit about the power play because it hasn't been going that well, as we said. They came into this game ranked number 19 in the Western Hockey League. Here's J.D. Watt going in. Doucette along these near boards for Red Deer. From the blue line, that is Weller putting it back down towards the corner. Almost got it back again. Edmonton sending it down the ice. Vinsor giving chase, but he can't get there in time. It's icing on the Oil Kings.
Well, there's only 2 16-year-olds in the lineup for this Red Deer team. One of them is Justin Weller that they brought up. The other, Landon Ferraro. He's the 2nd player taken in the Bantam 06 draft. If you get a look at Thomas Vinsor, but Landon Ferraro, number 1 pick, was that great defenseman Jared Cowan from Spokane. Ferraro's dad's in the building today. Ray's going to be doing a game tomorrow. Talk to us in between periods, I believe. It'd be great to have him on.
Second intermission, we'll talk to Ray, who scored 108 goals. It's an unbelievable number now. He had 108 goals in 1 season with Brandon, a record many feel will never be touched.
And you know, the defenseman on that same team was Cam Plant with 118 assists.
Puck is down the ice for an icing call on the Edmonton Oil Kings. So with 7:25 to go in this first period, a face-off will go deep in Edmonton territory.
By calling 409-3700 or
Not a good start for Red Deer. They certainly battled from behind. They've always been close. Dan, 16 of their games were one-goal games this year. They've been close. They just lacked that little bit of finish, but they're in every one. But I think they've just handed this Edmonton Oil King team right now a 2-0 lead, and Oil Kings very happy with the position they're in.
And a stolen puck in front of the net, but unable to get the shot was Jeff Lee. You can see how he was knocked down. They're in a lot of games, but they're never out shooting opponents. Only one time this season has Red Deer been on the positive side of the shot clock, and they played 22 games. But they have so many 17-year-olds especially. I mean, the 2 16s and the 10 17-year-olds. So this season is all about developing those players, Bill, and it'll be interesting to see Red Deer in the second half, because sometimes the growth spurt is quite prominent from the first half to the second half.
Oh, it's prominent in 12, 15-game segments. No question about it. You will see that. But you know, you take a look at the standings here in that Eastern Conference. You see where we're at here with Edmonton 22 points and Red Deer dead last. One of the problems for Red Deer, too, as they go home now for a couple home games, is that they've only won one time at home, Red Deer has. They've got 17 goals the Rebels have scored on home ice, and that is the lowest in the entire WHL. So, you know, after being home for a couple days, they went right from Vancouver to Red Deer. They've come out here now with a couple days back in school, a little bit of rest, find themselves in a fairly good hole.
By the way, that one road win came against Edmonton.
Yeah.
And Red Deer blew a 3-1 lead in the last 4 minutes and then won it in the shootout. So that's their only home victory so far. But fans there know about a lot of home ice victories. Red Deer had 35 victories last year and lost in the first round of the Medicine Hat Tigers, the eventual WHL champs, and that series won 7 games. The last 3 times, amazingly, that Red Deer's made the playoffs, Medicine Hat has beat them every time. They'd take that again this year if they could climb back into the playoffs. Stamler shoots the puck in. Bretton Stamler, number 6 for Edmonton, wears the captaincy. Longtime Seattle Thunderbird, played 280 games with Seattle. Gonna face off in the neutral zone now with 5.5 minutes to go in this first period.
You know, coaches always coach, especially the young kids, and all the way through to the veterans. They talk about positioning in hockey, and you often wonder what does it really mean? I mean, different systems for different coaches, but whatever system you use, the thing about good positioning, it seems to always put you in a spot where you're always poised to make the right play. And it doesn't matter if you're Coach Sutter or whether you're Coach Plow or whoever you are, you want your team in a position to always be in that way. And that's something that really the big challenge in coaching a young team, or even the expansion team for that matter.
Egner lead pass ends up on the stick of Sawney. In front of the net, a good chance for Brandon Sutter, and there's the best opportunity so far for Red Deer as Sawney found Brandon Sutter, who didn't waste much time getting that shot away. Sawney again up for Sutter as he hits the line. There are 3 Oil Kings back, but Sutter will give chase. Throws a nice check on the end boards. Ian Lockerbie battling for it, and now Redicke gets the puck. Brent Redicke, lead pass, gets it out to the neutral zone. Saskowicz, or check that, Fegren giving chase. But he could not keep control of the puck. Now Dallas Jackson plays it on this near side. That's Weller moving it up, but it's a penalty behind the play that's stopping play. And the infraction is an elbow, but I didn't see it. Bill, did you catch that one?
No, but it is going against the Edmonton Oil Kings, and the penalty is going against Robin Fegren. It is an elbowing penalty. This comes with 4:40 left in this first period, and it is a terrific opportunity right now for the Red Deer Rebels to at least get back on the scoreboard. There's the elbow right there. I guess you could have called it charging. You probably could have called it boarding. Could have called it elbowing. Referee decided that was a call, and Robin Figren's going to spend the next 2 minutes or less in the box. Face off just outside that blue line. It really is important, Dan, for the Rebels, I think, to generate some offense. They've been outshot 11-4 in this first period. They are better than that.
Dallas Jackson sends it in as they announce the Fegren penalty. It is the first power play for Red Deer. J.D. Watt getting tied up by the referee more than anything there, and Doucette can't hold the puck in as Red Deer has to come back out here to organize. Dallas Jackson. Now it's Matt Strong. He'll send it in. On the far side is Doucette. Doucette to J.D. Watt. Landon Ferraro's in front of the net, but he can't get the puck, so he goes and gets it himself in the corner, comes off the boards, takes a shot, scores! Landon Ferraro scores the goal on the power play. And Red Deer is back in it, and you had to love the way Ferraro went and got the puck himself in the corner and made it all happen for himself.
Yeah, with J.D. Watt is in there doing the forechecking, and it's Ferraro that goes in deep enough to take that puck, take control of it, and he says, I will take it right from this spot right here. That's Watt in there. Watch Ferraro come in, take this puck right here. This is a goal scorer's goal. Heads up, he looks at the point, checks off the points, says, if I can get this puck being a right-hand shot into that face-off circle around the hash mark in front of the net, a good quick release makes this happen. There it is, there's the shot. Hey, the goaltender Archibald's in good position, but can't get a piece of that, and that is a big goal for the Rebels in this game here tonight.
Comes at 15:55. It's the 5th goal of the year for Landon Ferraro. Yeah, I just loved how he went over to the far side, got the puck himself, and made it happen. That puck, by the way, on the ensuing play, flipped out of play. It looks like by Swaby, and so it looks like that'll be the delay of game penalty, and Red Deer's going back on the power play.
There it is. Swaby's got it. How can you miss the glass on that one? What's he using, a 9-iron? He wanted a 7-iron on that one, maybe a 5-iron. This guy's got way too much experience. Matt Swaby, one of those guys that's played a lot of hockey with the Tri-City Americans. Another opportunity for the Red Deer Rebels to get back in this game. They trailed 2-0. Now they're trailing by 1, but on the power play.
And here's Red Deer coming off the boards, trying to set up the power play. And a long shot, sailing wide of the net. That was Sutter taking the shot. Just announcing the Ferraro goal, and it is unassisted, although there was some pretty good work being done just prior to Ferraro digging the puck out of the corner. So the very rare unassisted power play goal, usually I should say rare, but we've had 2 of them in this first period. As it's shot in by Red Deer. And again, the penalty clock's not working here. Brandon Sutter from back at the goal, trying to get it in front. Sonny, number 14 in his first game, also in there deep. They'll try it again. Sutter can't get the puck though. Will it be held in nicely by Lewis? Yes. He batted that one out of there nicely to get it to Polak. Polak to Sutter. We're in the final minute of the period. Sutter back to Lewis. He gets the puck back again. Moore now, long shot, tips off the target. Brandon Sutter tries to jump on it, does. Backdoor pass to Polak off the side of the net. He'll try to get the rebound. Cepek working, can't get it. Brandon Sutter gets it from behind the goal, tries a quick wraparound. Nothing doing there. Lewis, Morin, shot, knocked off the target. Pretty good pressure here by Red Deer as they continue to battle inside the Edmonton zone for loose pucks.
And every time Brandon Sutter has the puck, I love the way he protects it. It's hard to knock off his stick.
Lewis, Morin,
10 seconds remaining.
Long shot, that's handled by Archibald. The rebound is right there. It's in the net. Finally, it's in the goal. The Red Deer Rebels score a power play goal, and it's all tied 2-2. And for the longest time, Bill, I didn't think they were actually going to be able to bang it into the net.
Well, we'll take a look and see the traffic around the net. You know, it's Sutter that gets it into that crease area. He just simply overpowers Cepek. Here it comes. You watch it. There's a couple good battles in front of the net, but I thought the Rebels did a nice job of keeping that puck in twice. Now, get it on the net. Archibald loses it. That's Sutter right there at the far top of your screen. Sonny's got a man tied up as well. Everybody's around there. I'm not too sure if Thomas Polak's going to get credit for that or not.
I think so.
But the entire line involved in it. And this game that I thought was sort of handed the first period to the Edmonton Oil Kings. The Rebels have come back right now, tied it at 2. Polak gets credit for it.
They could only give 3 scoring points on that, but all 5 deserved one because they did a terrific job keeping that puck in the Edmonton zone. And Sutter gets the first assist, more in the second assist on what is the 3rd goal of the year for Polak. And here they are looking for another one. Doucette off the side of the net. That was behind Archibald, and there was almost a 3rd Red Deer goal. So all of a sudden this period has shifted drastically. It's 2-2 and all 4 goals on the power play.
And probably, in my opinion, the end of the period finishes off the way maybe the first part of the period started. I thought Red Deer carried a bit of the play the first 3 or 4 minutes.
Both teams guilty of taking ill-advised penalties.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Swaby
really
over the glass,
Oh.
the Watt penalty. I mean, Swaby.
Yeah. You gotta know
these
better.
are 20-year-olds, Watt and Swaby. Anyway, tied 2-2. We are now into the last minute of the period. They were announcing the last period, a minute of penalties as well. As Red Deer goes back to collect the puck, but only for a moment. There's a big bad giveaway, and Vigran then fans on it. So mistakes by both the giver and the taker. It stays 2-2. Red Deer able to move the puck out. And quickly, here they come. Kurgovich, centering pass in front of the net for Penny. Back for Kurgovich, he scores! A little give and go, and Red Deer has exploded for 3 late first period goals, and the Rebels lead the Oil Kings 3-2.
Well, this play starts all the way back inside the Red Deer zone. Watch it. It isn't very pretty. They mishandle a puck, but you stay with it. Keep going at it. There's a little bit of opening in between the legs of the goaltender Archibald right there. Watch Kurgovich. He mishandles a puck, but still follows it up by Kurgovich, finding that little opening between the legs of the goaltender, and it's a 3-2 lead for this Red Deer Rebel team.
So Kurgovich getting his second of the season. And the only assist goes to Tyler Penny at 1950. So 3 goals in the last 4 minutes and 5 seconds erases a 2-0 Oil Kings lead. Archibald and company go to the dressing room behind 3-2. Dan, as we send it back to you at WHL Central.
What a finish there to the first. All right, coming up in the first intermission, Scott Rintoul is here to go inside the WHL. Newest Oil King Jeff Lee will be our rinkside guest. Plus, Edmonton assistant coach Rocky Thompson talks about his transition from player to coach. Plus, Dan and Bill will be back with all the highlights from the first 20 minutes of play. That's coming up next on Strauss Herb WHL Hockey on Shaw. Welcome back to WHL Central. We are through 1 period of play between the Red Deer Rebels and Edmonton Oil Kings. Time now to go inside the WHL, and he's back. He's ready. Scott Rintoul, good to see you, buddy.
Well, Dan, they say 2 charcoal pinstripes are better than 1, so I'm back and ready to go.
Absolutely. I'm glad you got the memo on the wardrobe tonight. All right, let's start with this. Regina Pats leading the East Division. In fact, they're first in the Eastern Conference. A lot of people predicted this, but he's surprised it's happened so fast.
Well, yeah, I am surprised it's happened so fast, but I'm not surprised by the guys who are leading the way. Jordan Eberle, a Regina boy, in fact, Dan. Great rookie season last year, 55 points, but he is on pace to almost double that this year. He's got 30 points already this season. And Logan Pyatt, one of the young guns that we saw in that WHL Super Series against Russia, or the Canada CHL Super Series against Russia. First in goals this year. He's got 11. I'm talking among defensemen in the WHL. Those 2 young guys leading the way.
Well, how about that trade? Picking up Tim Krause. It was a situation here in Vancouver. Wasn't working out with Don Hay. The 2 kind of did not see eye to eye, but seems like it's been a perfect fit in Regina.
That's an excellent point you make, Dan. Tim Krause has been a wonderful addition for the Regina Pats. He's been a point-a-game guy the last 2 years in Vancouver, but it was his work ethic that people were questioning. Nobody's questioning him right now in Regina. 27 points in 21 games. One more thing we should throw in, doesn't hurt to have the second-ranked power play in the league. 25% they are clicking at right now in Regina.
Okay, well, let's stick in the Eastern Conference. And speaking of teams that are on fire, the Lethbridge Hurricanes, they got off to a brutal start. But, man, they are just doing everything right now.
You're right. On October 18th, this is a team that was 3 games below 500. Turn the calendar just a month later, less than a month, in fact, and they are way in front of that. They are 10-0-0-1 since that time, Dan. They are undefeated in their last 11, and a lot of it has to do with goaltending. Michael Maniego allowing 13 goals in his last 7 starts. Juha Metsola, let me get that pronunciation correct, just 8 goals against in his 4 starts. Those 2 have combined to put great goaltending there for the Lethbridge Hurricanes, and that's a big reason they're doing what they're doing. But balanced scoring has a lot to do with it as well.
I was going to say, it can't hurt to have a guy like Zach Boychuk, Mitch Fadden up front who are doing a great job as well.
You're right. Those two guys lead the way. 26 points apiece so far this season, Dan. But when you look at their roster, they have 9 players with 10 points or more. They've got 10 if you count one of the players they just added via the trade route. So they've got everything a coach wants right now. Great goaltending, balanced scoring. You're going to win hockey games. Maybe not undefeated in 11, but this is a great role the Lethbridge Hurricanes are on.
Well, considering this division, the Central Division, 5 of the 6 teams have a record above 500. I mean, for Lethbridge to win this, I mean, they're going to have to play tough throughout the year. There are no breaks in that division.
No, there certainly aren't. And I mean, one of the things we talked about before the program tonight is we're just surprised how tough it has been for Red Deer. But like a couple of divisions in the NHL that a lot of our fans will follow, it's not really a turtle derby. It's just the teams are so evenly matched that on any given night, anybody can win. And it's really tough to make any ground up in that division.
Okay, let's move on here. Scott, we talked about last week the Chilliwack Bruins picking up Evan Pigan, a player from the BCHL. Well, for the Vancouver Giants, the case of the rich getting richer. They just picked up a guy from the BCHL who's decided to come play for them.
Yeah, Casey Piero Zabato. Hopefully you got that pronunciation right tonight.
We're testing you.
A guy who scored 116 points last year in 55 games with the Merritt Centennials. Wanted to go to Michigan Tech this year. It didn't work out academically. He needed to rewrite his SATs. That was going to take a while. Instead, he decides he's going to go to the Vancouver Giants. You talk about the rich getting richer, but for the Vancouver Giants, this is maybe third time being a charm. They had Daniel Bertram, Kyle Turris, a couple of hot young guns that are going to make their way into the NHL in coming years. Those guys were on the Vancouver Giants' radar, but they never decided to come to the WHL. Now they get a guy who can fill out some more scoring for them, and a guy who comes to them via one of the other owners in the league now. Shane Doan worked out with this kid. He's in Kamloops. They're both from Kamloops, realistically, because Shane Doan spends a lot of time there in the offseason. I'm thinking if Shane Doan had have been an owner at that time, he may have tried to find a way
to make a deal
at that time instead of sending him to his old coach, Don Hay, here in Vancouver.
Yeah, you bet. Should be a great addition for the Giants' big left-handed centerman. All right, Scott, that's all the time we have. Thank you once again. We will see you again on Friday. All right, we got to take a quick break, but when we come back, we have much more here on the first intermission. You're watching Strauss Herb WHL Hockey on Shaw. Good-looking night here in Vancouver. Welcome back to WHL Central. After one period of play, it is the Red Deer Rebels leading the Edmonton Oil Kings 3-2. Edmonton opened with 2 power play goals, Brandon Lockerbie and Cameron Seapack scoring, but the Rebels answered with 3 of their own, Landon Ferraro, Thomas Pollock, and Mike Krigovich scoring for the Rebels. Now, we just talked about the Giants getting a player who had previously committed to a U.S. college, while the Oil Kings convinced Jeff Lee, who was just starting his second year at Alaska Fairbanks, to join their team. He is in his second game with Edmonton and right now joins Dan back at Rexall Place.
Jeff, that was a strange first period. You get 2 early ones, they get 3 late ones.
Yeah. Well, there was a lot of power play goals, so staying on the box is going to be big.
What did you think of the period in general? I mean, you're only in your second game here, and I'm sure you're still trying to find your stride.
Yeah. Well, just getting used to playing with line mates and teammates and stuff. So far it's going good, and I like it.
Jeff, what was your decision-making in leaving NCAA? You were at the University of Alaska Fairbanks. Take us through that a little bit.
Well, I played my first year, and the 2 coaches that recruited me left, and a new coach came in, and I just thought the move was best for myself. It had nothing to do with Alaska, but I like the team there, but this is a better chance for me, I think. And I came to the Oil Kings, and I like the Oil Kings.
Well, good luck with your new team.
Thanks.
Well, this past summer was one of transition for Rocky Thompson. Not only did he turn 30 years of age, but he decided after 10 years as a pro it was time to hang up the skates. A decision made a lot easier because of the opportunity to become Steve Plo's #1 assistant with the Edmonton Oil Kings. With more on the man who played 25 career NHL games, accumulating 117 penalty minutes, here's Kevin Verove.
The scrapper
well, we've been working hard all night here.
is becoming the teacher. Rocky Thompson will be the first to tell you he's loving his new role in hockey this winter as an assistant coach with the Edmonton Oil Kings. It's a lot of work.
The training camp is crazy. I think if you asked any coach, training camp is nuts, and especially for a first-year coach, because we're used to being at the rink for 3 hours in the NHL. That's like a rule for the NHLPA. You're there, and all you have to do is worry about yourself, work hard, condition yourself, and then you can go home and rest. As a coach, we were there from 6 in the morning till 10:30 at night during training camp and rookie camp. So I was like, oh my goodness, this is crazy. That's it, guys. Shake it off.
Defensemen like Brent Henke love that the former NHL veteran is so approachable and passes on a ton of knowledge.
He's working with the defensemen. He's a great defense coach. You can tell those guys learned a lot from him. And all the experience in the NHL, the AHL, it just shows on our team this year.
I had to learn a lot of things because I wasn't very talented, so I had to learn where I needed to be on the ice. And Steve can't talk to every single player on the bench or in the dressing room. And being in charge of the defensemen, that's something that I can go to them with and explain and help teach where they need to be on the ice.
Thompson was a logical choice for the role. He's local, from Whitecourt, lives here in the Capital Region full-time. Plus, the 30-year-old has a past with head coach Steve Plow. Rocky was coached by Plow when the two were in Peoria with the Rivermen of the AHL.
He's always been a very good student of the game. You know, he knew his role in the game, and obviously he had to do that to be a pro for so long. But he was always astute on what we were doing systems-wise and making sure he was in on penalty kill meetings. So if you ran down low on the bench and needed a guy, Rock was always ready to, to contribute in any way he could.
Thompson's assistant's role was mapped out early with the team. Run the defense on the bench during the game, help out with mentorship and drills during practice, and study game tape.
Rock's primary role right now has been to learn the video and make sure that he gets up on that so that, we can present to the guys, we can do teaching on that, but he's doing everything for us.
Rocky played 4 years in the WHL with Medicine Hat and Swift Current.
Being in the WHL was an awesome experience. I played 4 years when I was 16 to 19 years old, and things have changed. The game has changed a tremendous amount.
Does Thompson miss playing? Absolutely.
It's hard not playing, I got to be honest, but at the same time, I think coaching might be the second best thing that you could do next to playing.
A new chapter in the Rocky Thompson story. Kevin Virov, Shaw TV, Capital Region.
All right, let's take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard. As we said, 6 other games going on. Brandon leading Prince Albert 4-2. Tyler Dittmer, Matt Lowry each with a goal and an assist. Elsewhere, Regina is up 2-0 on Medicine Hat. Jared Jaugow and Spencer Fry-Pond have the goals for the Pats that game in the second period of play. Calgary is dominating these Thunderbirds. They're up 2-0. They outshot the T-Birds 17-3 in the first. Jacob DeSerres is seeing all kinds of pucks for the T-Birds. Pre-PG and Tri-C, they're set to go at 7:05 Pacific time. Other 2 games going on tonight, Kelowna and Kamloops. Kamloops 2-1 under Greg Hoggood, not 2-0 as I said at the beginning, and Chilliwack taking on Everett as well. The Russians are coming, and yes, the boys of the WHL will be ready. The ADT Challenge will take place November 28th at the Recplex in Cranbrook. For ticket information, call 250-417-0322. The following night, the series shifts to the arena in Medicine Hat to wrap up the Russian stay in Canada. If interested in going to the game in Medicine Hat, call the Tigers ticket line at 403-527-8406. All right, Rexall Place is calling. Time now to check back in with Dan and Bill to get their impressions of the game through 20 minutes of play. Guys?
Thanks very much, Dan. Welcome back to Edmonton. It was a wild first period here, 3-2, and it was a lot of power play, so the referees were busy. Graham Skilleter is one of the 2 officials, and he was asked prior to tonight's game how much feedback the WHL officials get from their superiors.
Our development as an official in this league is second to none, in my opinion. We have some of the best coaches, definitely in Western Canada, if not Canada or North America, in the world. The feedback they give us, a referee is going to be as crucial himself as anyone else is to make the proper call anytime. And that feedback helps in our development game to game right through to the playoffs and hopefully the Memorial Cup.
Okay, very well said. And a lot of penalties in the first period, but they weren't hard ones to call because a lot of them were just undisciplined penalties, and they led to a lot of goals, Bill.
Well, they did a lot of power play goals. We'll show you one of the silly penalties right off the bat. Roll it right here. Here's a penalty that's taken on Kurgovich right at the beginning of the period almost. Look, I mean, that's silly. There was a couple offensive zone penalties as well. And that led to this first power play goal by Lockerbie. Good job here, keeping it in, shot it on him. Look at the room that he's got, Dan. He's got 15 feet. Once you can move into the front tees like that and rip that puck, I don't care Morgan Clark or not, he's just not going to make that save right there. Too much room on that penalty kill, and Edmonton had that 1-0 lead. Now they play catch. Same thing. Look at the room CPEC has. You can't come out and act as a perfect screen. That's twice it happened in that situation. You get a look at it. There's nobody around. By the time that puck gets on the net, Clark doesn't have a chance. But you know who brings it back into this game for Red Deer?
Well, it's Landon Ferraro.
16 years old. Look at him take that puck into that spot there. The snapshot over the glove side of the goaltender. J.D. Watt on a good forecheck here, Dan. Doesn't get an assist. Hey, I got a youngster to get you right back on the board. At that point now, it's 2-1. Power play. Sutter, 12 white. Look at CPEC in front of the net. That's the traffic that Sutter causing. You'll see it on here. Cameron CPEC says, I got to get Sutter, who's going behind the net. That leaves a lot of traffic in front. You can't have 3 Red Deer Rebels in that situation. They will overpower you. This is a goal off the rush. Kurgovich with the pass. It's mishandled. Kurgovich follows it up, gets it past the goaltender. That's just heads-up play by the Red Deer player to say, listen, that puck screwed up right there? I'll find it. I'll keep shoving it towards the net, and he makes a pay for it, and it's a 3-2 Rebel lead.
And there's your summary. Can't all fit on one page. We had 5 goals in the first period. Lockerbie, CPEC, and Ferraro on page 1. And then the 2 last goals by Polak and Kurgovich, giving Red Deer a 3-2 lead. Stand by for the second period. It comes your way next. You're watching the Western Hockey League on Shaw. Welcome back to Edmonton. Dan Russell with Bill Wilms. 3-2 Red Deer leads. Red Deer has a record of 4 wins on the road, 7 losses. And Edmonton has 4 wins on home ice against 4 losses. So something will break here. As we start this period, the teams are at full strength. Puck goes down the ice, no icing. Back to get it. Lewis in the corner, being checked by Fegren. Puck squirts free, and now it's gobbled up by Morin, and he sends it down the ice, but again, no icing. Archibald back to control the puck back of the net. Archibald in goal. Alex Archibald for the Edmonton Oil Kings. Morgan Clark for the Red Deer Rebels as that puck goes down the ice, and it's icing called on Edmonton.
Strauss Herb WHL on Shaw is brought to you by the Strauss Herb Company of Products. Trust the tradition.
First minute of the second period, and the face-off deep in the defensive zone for Edmonton, and they win the face-off. And we have... Must tell you that they just announced Dalen Flett going into the net for Edmonton, so clearly they weren't happy, Bill, with those 3 goals allowed. So Dalen Flett comes into this game in relief of Alex Archibald.
Yeah, he's the guy that played goal in that game at Red Deer, that shootout loss. Dalen Flett, 17 years old. He's got the 3 wins. He's been goal right now for Red Deer.
Face-off is deep into the Edmonton zone and held in there by Red Deer. Coming off the boards is J.D. Watt. He'll have to go to the far side. Stamler trying to check him. Watt with one hand on it. Again, trying to work it in front of the net. And finally, it's taken off his stick in a bad spot, and Bright Cruz goes back the other way. Right in, and a one-hander goes right onto the goal. And Clark is able to keep it out, but there's going to be a penalty on the play. And Again, not to point fingers too much at J.D. Watt, but how long is he going to hold on to the puck there?
Well, he makes the big circle, which he does often. We've seen him do that, Dan. That's not the real problem, but he gets too close to his own defenseman, and that allows Brett Cruz to simply strip the puck out of both of them. Man, I wish we could have run that back a little bit further. You would have seen J.D. Watt with the big circle, and that was really what caused the problem, because he got within 10 feet of his own defenseman, and that made a real problem at that point.
So Edmonton has both their goals on the power play, and they're setting up for their 4th power play of this game. Fegren, number 23, getting the puck. He gets it to Saskowicz. Saskowicz back towards Halukov, but he can't hold it in, and it's forced out by Brennan Ray, and down the ice it goes. So Dallin Flatt in goal for the Edmonton Oil Kings. He's 17 years old. It's in his second year. He played with Kamloops last year, so both of the Edmonton goalies familiar with that BC division, with Archibald playing for Chilliwack and Flett playing for the Kamloops Blazers.
And he was back up there to Dustin Butler. That Kamloops team won 40 games last year, so it was very tough for him to break into that lineup.
Tyler Penny is shorthanded, doing a nice job. He's got those 2 Oil Kings wrapped around him, but look at the job Penny's doing. That's great penalty killing. It takes 3 Oil Kings, and they still don't have the puck.
It's fine. He killed off 15 seconds on that play.
That's why he was a Notre Dame hound. He was all over that puck. Tyler Penny. Where's number 17? We lost him in the corner there because he was being draped over by all those Oil King jerseys, but what an effective job penalty killing. And right now there's a half-minute remaining in this man advantage as Fegren gains the zone, throws it in front. Dowd put it off the target. Fegren plays it back to the line. Lee. Now a long shot off the target. Fegren trying to get a stick on it. Fegren in this corner. Dowd now off the corner boards in the slot. Nice place to shoot, and Morgan Clark is right there to make the save.
The key again for the Oil Kings is to win the battle, come off the boards. Goals so often in this game come off the rush or off the boards. You'll see the scrum in the corner, and right there the red-shirted Oil Kings come away from it, and much like Landon Ferraro did earlier when he scored on that kind of play for Red Deer, that time the goaltender Clark makes a save. But a good job to come off the boards with the puck there by Brendan Dowd, and maybe even a better save by the goaltender Clark.
There's a long shot by Vanda Mosseler. Ends up on the target. Penalty almost over. In fact, it does come to an end now. So Edmonton, after scoring on their first 2 power plays of this hockey game, are now 2 for 4 with the man advantage. As this puck bounces around in the neutral zone. Lewis from inside his line. Couldn't negotiate the first pass. But the Rebels are on it again, and Mark Lewis has it. Played 270 games, Mark Lewis did, with the Brandon Wheat Kings. He got the puck in deep. Chance from the corner boards and the back boards there for the Rebels, but they can't work it in front, though the point shot goes way up in the air, and Fleck catches it and holds on.
Well, as a player, Brian Sutter had done it all. He fought the other team's tough guys. He shut down Guy Lafleur's and the Mike Bossies. He was involved in the offense, and he provided offense. And you know, why is that important, Dan? Because he knows how every one of those type of players feels. He says he's been a fighter, he's been a checker, he's been a scorer. He's got great empathy for players that bring those type of qualities to games. He's a great, great man to have behind the bench at the junior level.
636 NHL points, 1,786 penalty minutes, and just under 800 National Hockey League games.
You know, with kids, it's tough. You've got to be so terribly patient. You know, there's the old adage, when I hear, I forget. When I see, I remember. But when I do, I understand. But boy, it can be painful. These kids, the young kids, they know how to fold them. They really got to learn how to hold them. And, you know, both coaches, Flo with an expansion team and, you know, maybe the youngest team in the league here, Red Deer. But they got that 3-2 lead right now. And it's been a great comeback. They trailed, we might add 2-0 at one point in the first period. Actually, early, after almost 7 minutes, they come back to take the lead.
And here's Edmonton on the forecheck now. Stamler had that puck fanned on as he was trying to complete a pass. And now Doucette couldn't negotiate contact with it either, so it's a little sloppy at this stage of the second period. Battle for the puck in the corner. Doucette did get the puck free, and it goes to Dallas Jackson. Lead pass. Yeah, nice one on the stick of Sutter as he sends it deep in to Edmonton territory. Flett gloving it down, and then it's played along these near boards, but J.D. Watt jumps on it. Watt again going after the puck, being checked a little bit there by Lee. Now going in to help out is Tyler Penny. Penny in that same corner where he was doing all that great penalty killing a short time ago. He likes that corner. Look at him work along those boards again. Kirkovich is in there, and Penny comes up with a puck. Penny out from back of the net, comes back to the line to Scarborough. Long shot through traffic. That's knocked down. Penny again trying to jump on it. Scarborough's long shot off the goalpost. Scarborough through traffic, shooting it from the line. I don't think Flett ever saw it, as you see the icing now stopping the play. But almost the fourth Red Deer goal, right from the line, goes off the post.
Tyler Penny is almost on the way off the ice at this point, and he's done his job in there, but you know, he's one of the reasons why that puck stayed inside that Edmonton zone, and it was a lot of work by Penny that eventually, I think he's at the top left of your screen going off for a line change, but his work was done, and his team was able to keep that puck in and ring one off the post. Boy, he's a persistent, real solid forechecker, Tyler Penny.
Red Deer shooting the puck in and jumping on it very quickly as Morin going in deep to try to get that puck in front. Had two chances to do that. That was Morin falling back in there, but look at Brandon Sutter come off the boards, just poked off his stick. And now Robin Fegren has it. Fegren joined the Oil Kings late. He had a sports hernia injury that kept him out of training camp and the first few games. He wears 23, and he's obviously one of their leaders. He has 18 points in 18 games. In fact, 10 in his last 7, so he's been pretty hot for the Edmonton Oil Kings.
Robin Fegren tries every year, whoever's with, to wear that number 23. It's in honor of his father, who got injured badly playing in the Swedish Elite League, kind of ended his career.
And look at that pass to set up that scoring play, or is it? It was right on the line and no indication from the ref. I thought that puck actually went in behind, but Clark somehow holds it out, and we'll get a face-off deep, and it was all set up by Robin Fegren.
Fegren's so good offensively, such good hands. He makes a neat little pass, I think, to Brendan Dow. This is Fegren with it. He's in traffic. There's a neat little give and go. Gets that puck in deep, and somehow out of all of that mess of white-shirted Red Deer Rebels, Brendan Dowd gets that puck right to the front of the net. Look at the referee. Wow, did you see his position there?
Great position, but how did it stay out?
Yeah, sometimes you got to be lucky, sometimes you got to be good, sometimes you got to be both. It's a good hockey game. It's sloppy in spots. Yeah. Sometimes it's just sloppy enough to be kind of exciting.
Absolutely it is. And here's Ray as he hits the blue line, and a little give and go as he went to the front of the net, couldn't get a shot or a redirected deflection there on the shot taken by Smith. Now as they battle on these boards, Carter Smith and Brennan Ray trying to get it in front of the net. Holding it in nicely there was Justin Weller. He's just been called up from Drayton Valley of the AJHL. Back comes Edmonton. McCallum. McCallum shoots the puck back of the net. Vinsor, number 22, can't get his stick on it. And out comes Red Deer. Doucette sending it in, and he'll give chase. Cepek first to it on the backboards. Brent Redicke goes in for Edmonton, and he gets it out of his own zone, but not for long. Landon Ferraro sending it back in. Edmonton will move it right back out again as we pass the 8-minute mark of the second period here at Rexall Place. It's Red Deer 3, Edmonton 2. All the scoring in the first period. Cepek on the far wall throws a backhand at Clark. He turns that aside. Luke Egner on the end boards, number 4 for Red Deer. Can't come up with the loose puck. Here's a long shot, deflects off the target. Hustling over here is Ferraro. Oil Kings keep the puck in. There's a high shot by Stamler over top the goal. And now here comes Red Deer. And Ferraro's giving chase as he tries to swat Swaby away. Again, Ferraro in there, kicking it back at the net. Swaby gets possession of the puck. Former Tri-City American gets the puck through the neutral zone, and down the ice it goes for an icing.
You know, you take amazingly this Edmonton Oil King team with the 9 wins, 9 losses. They've really only had one shaky stretch all season so far. There were 2 games played, October 12th and 13th. A 2-game trip. They lost 10-1 at Swift Current. They lost 6-2 the next night at Medicine Hat. Gave up 16 goals against, but to Steve Plo's credit, that's the only shaky spot, Dan, this team has had in this relatively young season. That's just terrific for an expansion team.
Also terrific, they have a winning record in their division. They're 4-3, 1-2 within the Central Division. Although only one of those on home ice.
You know, one thing you see so clearly by both of these teams so far here tonight, and you've heard the kids say it all the time, you hear coaches say it, we want to keep it simple. You know what that means? Winning those battles, making little chip outs, little dump ins. Both teams are really desperately trying to make those things happen.
There's a backhand shot that goes wide of the net. That was taken by Adamic. Now they're battling back the goal. Edmonton's coming up with the loose puck. Can't work it in front. Nygam was bodied. Oh, here is Henke trying to keep the puck in. And as Edmonton makes a change, Red Deer has a lot of room to move it, but a forward pass is picked off in the neutral zone and brought in by Dowd. Fiegren in front, handling the puck, and then taking that shot. That was a great play by Fiegren to corral the puck and then get the shot on goal, but it stays 3-2 Red Deer as we take a break. You're watching the Western Hockey League from Edmonton on Shaw. At the Red Deer benches, Brian Sutter, their team leads 3-2. You got to be pretty happy with your group coming back from a 2-goal deficit so far, Brian.
Well, if you stand around and don't move your feet, you're going to take penalties that get you in trouble, and we know 5-5 we're as good as any team in the league. So, you know, that's the same old story, whether you're in Pee Wee or whatever. Brandon!
Brian, real quick, Tyler Penny. He has been moving his feet. Talk about him briefly so far this game.
Well, we talk about defensive positioning all the time, you guys, and it never changes. Tyler's a rookie, yet he's a very smart kid, and he just knows where to be on the ice. And, you know, the puck, the bottom line is centerman, a puck's got to go through you no matter where you are on the ice, 200 feet away to your net at all times. And he's a classic example of it. He's a smart young man.
Good luck, Brian. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thank you.
All right, there's Brian Sutter with his young team. Up 3-2 here in Edmonton, and looking for more as there's that shot off the wing. And he talked to him about those mental mistakes on penalties, just as we did. And here's a chance for his team to make it 4-2. And right there on the doorstep was Morin with that opportunity set up by Brandon Sutter. Brandon coming off the corner boards, trying to get it to Sonny. And it's flipped back to the net as Edmonton CPAC tries to shield his man away from the puck. Does a good job doing that and getting it out to the neutral zone. 9 minutes to go here in the second period. Brennan Ray trying to work it in front, could not. As it's flipped out to the neutral zone once more. And back to get it is Matt Strong. Strong is from Lloydminster, up to Polak. Knocked off his stick. Redicke can't really gain much in the Red Deer zone on that play. Looked like he had a little bit of room. Now it's shot back into Edmonton territory. Ray couldn't corral it for Red Deer. Now giving chase to this puck is Vinsor as he comes in off the wall right in front of the net, and he lost an edge just as he made that final cut. A good play there by Vinsor.
Man, I'm still blown away that kid's age now.
Meantime, a giveaway again by Vanda Mosseler this time. But Red Deer unable to capitalize. Adrian Vanda Mosseler comes back out. He's from Kelowna. He's got the longest name I've ever seen in the Western League. It does fit on the jersey, though. Play stoppage inside the Red Deer line.
Dan, this is why Carolina's so high on this Sutter kid. You know, he's relentless in his puck pursuit. You see Weller going off on the call. He's not too happy with it. Watch behind the net. He works. He wins his battle. And what does he do? He makes this neat little pass. Right here it comes. That is just a classic pass from the back wall. Now watch him. 12. Keep it on him. way up there. He goes right back and goes to work along the boards. That's where he's so good. He keeps the battle going along the boards and makes another pass that eventually gets back to the blue line. It doesn't get much better than that, folks. That's why he's an 11th overall pick by Carolina. The first forward taken in the draft last year.
As Fegren goes hard off the boards, and he took that shot, and I think it might have caught the chin guard there of Clark. Meantime, another opportunity for Dow. That one goes off the target after it hits something on the way. And Red Deer gets the puck down the ice. The Weller penalty was interference at 12:03. And it's what Brian Sutter spoke about. They take these penalties, and they're almost taking themselves out of the game, because 5-on-5 tonight, Red Deer has been the better club so far territorially.
Dan, they've been a better club 5-on-5 against a lot of teams in this league.
Now Clark gobbles that one up and holds on.
But, you know, you don't do a great job killing penalties and don't get your feet moving. It's exactly what Coach Sutter was talking about. That's a bad recipe. You know, this guy here can get off a tractor, he can get off a horse, and he can be in his office in Red Deer in 15 minutes. He says he's never had it that good. He loves it.
Awesome.
And he wants to work with kids at this level.
On his ranch, he has 500 head of purebred Angus.
He said he's always loved two things. Most guys have one real thing in their life that they like. He likes the farming part and the hockey part.
So he is in a great spot right now in his life. 51-year-old Brian Sutter, head coach of the Red Deer Rebels. His team short-handed. Cross-ice pass by McCallum. There's a shot and a rebound. Bright Cruz trying to get a stick on it. Vinsor taking the initial shot. Bright Cruz, who does have 8 goals this year, same amount he had last year with Kelowna. In a good position there, but the puck just wouldn't fall on his stick. Now Cepek. Cepek, nice article in the Edmonton Journal about him today. In fact, he played roller hockey till he was 13 years old. Cepek from the line. Gets the puck to McCallum, back to Cepek. Long shot, that's knocked down. McCallum gets the puck back again. Here's a chance, and a shot from the off wing is handled by Clark, and he holds on to stop the play.
There's a difference in penalty kill. I think earlier Cepek was firing that shot from the point and getting it through, but this time you'll see a whole lot less space. See 20 out front there? That's closing the gap. Now get back out there again. Get right in the face of the guy shooting the puck. That puck is blocked. Earlier in that first period, these pucks were getting through. That's just good puck pursuit, closing the gap. Even that shot from there wasn't really much harm. That's a real nice job of changing your penalty kill and making it a little tougher to move that puck around.
Edmonton now 2 for 5 with the man advantage. And again, they scored on their first 2 opportunities. The first one was a 2-man advantage. They had the 2-0 lead, 2 goals in a minute and a half at the 6-minute mark of the first period, and then Red Deer scored 3 times in the last 5 minutes of the opening period, and that's where we sit right now, 3-2. And the shots are 21 for the Oil Kings, 16 for the Rebels. Another penalty, though, back of the play, and it looks like yet another Red Deer penalty, as they are really taking a lot of them here. Goalie at the bench for the extra attacker. McCallum has stepped on the ice as the attacker. Cepek plays it cross ice. There's a shot by Stamler. Wide of the net. Lee trying to work it in front. Finally, Red Deer touches it, as Agner does. We have a holding penalty being assessed with 5 minutes to go in this period.
Scarborough, you can't do it. You just can't put the clamps on the guy. Watch it. In behind the net there. There's contact. That little tug. Well, he's holding him. That's it. I mean, there's a lot of coaches that'll say, hey, I'm finishing my check.
That's it.
Hey, did you watch him? He actually released his hand. Maybe it wasn't even that one. Maybe it was a little bit further in that play.
I hope so.
Yeah, because that looked pretty good to me.
Well, and when you consider it's the 3rd straight penalty in this period. And here's a chance for the Oil Kings on the far side, but Morgan Clark goes over to stop Fegren on that opportunity. 3 penalties in this period, all the Red Deer, after the Rebels took the 3-2 lead late in the first period. Fegren gets it back for Stamler. Now it's Redicke. Fegren. Will he go back to the point, or will he play it down low? The Endowed exchange passes as Fegren works his way back to the bench. Nice centering pass. The shot is blocked. And Red Deer is able to force it out. The first pass, or the pass was initially intended for Dowd in front of the net, and he couldn't handle it. And Red Deer again swats the puck back out to the neutral zone, delayed offside, so Red Deer has lots of time to move it. And they do just that. Dowd backhands it in. Edmonton will make the line change as Clark pushes it off to Lewis. Lewis and Clark, that's kind of neat.
Taverns, you know where they are? Explorers.
That puck goes out of play, but it's not over the glass. It's just at the bench, so there'll be no additional penalties.
Dan, good puck movement here from one side of the net to the other. You wonder if maybe this play should have been one time right there. Instead, that puck is stopped and then shot. You clearly see the goaltender, Morgan Clark, lots of time to get over from paying attention what's going on in his left and getting over to the right side to make that save. Quick release, quick snapshot. Sometimes, obviously, your best goaltender's not able to get set on that particular play.
Red Deer Rebels are in their 16th season in the Western League. They won the WHL Championship and the Memorial Cup in their 9th year back in 2001. It was Doug Lynch, who's forever a big hero in Red Deer, scoring the OT game winner against Val-d'Or. And they went, by the way, to the league final 3 years in a row. So that was special times for Red Deer hockey.
You know, the key of that hockey game, Dan, I mean, it may never have happened unless Red Deer had scored at 19:59 of the second period and closed the gap from a 2-goal deficit to a 1-goal deficit. That crest, by the way, that you see on the jersey of the Red Deer Rebels has been voted in the past by Hockey News magazine as the nicest crest, the nicest logo in all of hockey. There you see the Rebels' next 5 games. Maybe that's good news to go back home, but I said earlier, they've got to improve on that 1-8-0-0 record on home ice.
And the Oil Kings, they're here for a while. We're told they're hosting a pair of minor hockey nights this weekend. Their Friday game against Kootenay and their Sunday game against Seattle will have a minor hockey theme. There'll apparently be hundreds of minor hockey kids coming in as groups, all wearing jerseys. So that's to look forward to here at Rexall Place this weekend. As we get back to the game action, and the power play for the Oil Kings still has a half-minute remaining on it. But this power play has gone from looking very potent in the early going to very expansion-like since.
Yeah, again, I've counted at least 5 blocks by the Rebels, and you know, you're able to block pucks if you're a little closer to the shooters.
9 seconds of this penalty, though, and Bright Cruz having an opportunity, but couldn't connect on the pass down low. And as this battle is won by Red Deer, they'll come back to full strength. Egner brings the puck in over the line with Kurgovich, but off his stick it goes. Red Deer is back at full strength, so this is a 3-on-3 through the neutral zone. Binsor plays it back to Lockerbie. Long shot, that deflects to the corner. Jumping on it there was Mark Lewis, 5th-year Western Leaguer, playing it to the wall, and it finally is out to the neutral zone with 2:40 to go in this second period. Scarborough back to chase it. Mike Scarborough, he and Luke Egner working on their plus-minuses. They're both -13. Scarborough and Egner are for Red Deer.
Can't score goals. You know, you're going to be on the ice for a lot of goals against, unfortunately.
Yeah, your plus-minus will take a bit of a beating.
It's still a wide open hockey game.
Yeah.
It really is, although I do like the way the Rebels are checking a whole lot better now than the first 10 minutes of this hockey game.
Puck sent in deep. Nygam in the corner fell, but now the whistle blows, and a glove hand pass will stop the play with 1:54 to go in the period.
Thomas Vinsur talked about the 16-year-old from the Czech Republic. There he is. You know, he's the #1 pick, the first overall selection in the entire CHL. There were, you know, he turns, as I said, in 5 days he's turning 17. There were 71 Europeans taken in the draft, 7 of which were held, NHL rights were held to those guys. Usually you get a few more guys coming over that have been drafted by National Hockey League teams. not so this year. He is one of the best of them, no question about that. Vince Sewer, kind of a franchise player as a 16-year-old.
So if he's 6'2", 200 at 16 years old, what would the scouts project him to be? You know, by the time he gets to potentially being a pro.
Oh, he will definitely play, you know, at that probably that 220, 225 mark, without doubt. And if he keeps up the quickness, that's the important thing right there. We have a penalty that's taking place right now.
Yeah, very late after the whistle is an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty for Nygam of Edmonton. So I'm not sure exactly why he got that, unless it was for trying to embellish something as he went to that corner. And I looked at the time to see if there would be a penalty. There wasn't one called, but a late call, perhaps for unsportsmanlike conduct, maybe embellishing. Meantime, Red Deer on the doorstep, and Brandon Sutter can't corral the bouncing puck. There was almost the 4-2 goal. Meantime, shorthanded, here comes Lee going in hard, passes, and it's shot off the target. Great opportunity for Edmonton shorthanded as Lee sets up Comiskey, but it still remains 3-2. Morin to Lewis, back to Morin. J.D. Watt, shot! And that's knocked down. Ferraro can't get a stick on the rebound, and it's sent down the ice. So we get chances at both ends here on this Red Deer power play.
Yeah, you're right, Dan. Earlier, Sutter just missed in front of the net. Boy, did the Oil Kings do a nice job of rushing that puck back up the ice. And newcomer Lee made a great play right in front of the Red Deer net.
Meantime, the puck shot down the ice once more. And back to get it will be Dallas Jackson. Lead pass ends up on the stick of Ray, but we have a penalty in the neutral zone with that collision. And you could hear the buzz in the building when that collision takes place, and the referee Agar goes over to check on Swaby.
It's only 2 minutes. Watch this play by Sutter in front of the net here. The good shot from the point. Sutter right there, just fans on it. Nice job here for the Oil Kings to turn it up the ice. This is Lee, the newcomer. Good wheels, good play to the outside. Beat the man wide, makes this little pass here, and it just is mishandled ever so slightly there. And then the collision happens after that and the penalty. That was a good job of back checking, I might add, right there on that play. Here's the high stick. Ouch. You know you're going to be hit on that play, J.D. Watt. He gets that stick right up, right in the face of the Oil Kings.
Wow. So a high sticking penalty, and Watt is lucky it was only 2 minutes as the horn comes, or sounds, and the period comes to an end. No goals in that period, Bill. All kinds of goals in the first period.
11-9 rather shots on goal for Edmonton. Much better job, I thought, by the Rebels on killing that penalty. They've worked hard to erase a 2-0 lead, Dan. Now they've got that 3-2 lead, and as far as the coaching staffs for the Red Deer team is concerned, hey, no goals is good news. They take a 1-goal lead into the third.
All right, Dan, back to you at WHL Central.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Coming up in between periods, a feature on the WHL's leading scorer, Mark Santorelli of the Chilliwack Bruins. Carolina Hurricanes first-round pick and Red Deer Rebel Brandon Sutter will be our ringside guest. Plus, the man who holds the WHL record for most goals in a single season will sit down with our Dan Russell. He just happens to be watching his son on this night, so stick around. All that plus highlights and analysis after a quick break. You're watching Strauss Herb, WHL Hockey on Show. Back to Strauss Herb, WHL Hockey on Shaw. We are through 2 periods of play at Rexall Place in Edmonton. The Oil Kings trailing the Red Deer Rebels 3-2. 2 power play goals apiece for each team, but it's Mike Krigovich with the go-ahead goal for the Rebels at this point. Edmonton out shooting Red Deer 22-19 through 40 minutes. Now, it's pretty clear the Chilliwack Bruins are not suffering the effects of a sophomore slump. Currently second in the BC division behind the defending Memorial Cup champions. The Bruins are led by the top 2 scorers in the entire league. Number 1 on that list is Mark Santorelli, who, like his team, is hoping to make big things happen in his second full year in the dub.
Up front, we got guys like Campos in, we got Kohanik who's chipping in a few goals, and me and Oscar and even Holden on that unit. I think they don't know who to stop. All of us can put the puck in the net, so I think it's a pretty deadly combination.
He's property of the Nashville Predators. Last season, he flew under the radar, finishing 9th overall in WHL scoring, but slipping by Central Scouting's final listings. Come summertime, though, all was put to rest when the team that just signed his brother Mike called his name.
I kind of had a little feeling Nashville might take me, but I wasn't 100% sure. I wasn't even 100% sure I was going to get drafted. So to hear my name get called by Nashville, it was a really good time for me and my family.
Mark provides one half of a deadly 1-2 punch as line mate Oscar Moeller, an LA Kings draft pick, has capitalized over 20 times so far this year offensively with the puck when set up by number 11.
We're good friends on and off the ice. I think that's the key to our success. We work hard, and I think our styles complement each other. Oscar likes to shoot the puck, and I like to dish the puck, so I think we played really well together.
And what we've seen right from day one in training camp was they both had elevated their game. Oscar got stronger and faster, which is something he needed to do. Mark got a little bit quicker and put on a little more weight over the summer and made himself a little stronger in the offensive corners. So the things that they needed to work on in the summer, they did, and that's translating to some pretty good results for them here so far in the season.
Our power play this year, I think, is 10 times better than last year.
Bruins captain Nick Holden sees Santorelli as an obvious key piece to the success his second-year club has shown, but is cautious in saying the Burnaby native feels any pressure in carrying the mail for the hockey club each time they need it.
Having a guy like Mark who sees the ice so well, and he'll find you all over the ice to even set up other guys other than Oscar. And to have Oscar, who can just bury anything, is unbelievable. Whenever we need a big goal or something like that, it seems like they're always the guys out there getting it for us and helping us win games. And I think it's good that we kind of have a little bit of secondary scoring, because then, like last year, they had a lot of pressure. They had to carry our team. This year, I don't think they need to carry our team.
And a familiar face who will play their style of game is newly acquired forward and longtime friend of Mark's, Evan Piggin.
Me and Evan used to play back in junior A together, and even we always played against each other in minor hockey, so we've known each other for several years, and he's a hard-working player. He's honest. You know what he's going to get every game, and he just works hard, and he also has an eye for the net, so I think he'll be a really good fit for our team, especially my line.
Mark will represent the Bruins in the ADT Canada-Russia Challenge next week in Cranbrook, British Columbia, and embraces the opportunity to show his stuff and possibly compete for a spot on this year's Canadian World Junior team.
I think it's going to be a very good experience. I've never played against an international team, so I think that's something I'm really looking forward to, and showing my stuff, showing what I can do against the Russian players.
Now nice to see him get acknowledged by our league, for his great efforts and the elite player that he is.
Mark Santorelli of the Chilliwack Bruins, currently the Western Hockey League's leading scorer, 4 ahead of line mate Oscar Moeller. Just a tidbit for you as well. When number 11 gets a point, the Bruins have gone 10-4-2 on the season. For WHL Central, I'm Varney DeBartolo.
All right, time for a quick break, but when we come back, we'll get Brandon Sutter's thoughts through 40 minutes of play, plus former Memorial Cup champion and WHL record holder Ray Ferraro joins Dan and Bill at Rexall Place. You're watching Strauss Herb, WHL Hockey on Shaw. No goals in the second period, all coming in the first. It's the Red Deer Rebels leading the Edmonton Oil Kings 3-2 through 40 minutes of play. Time now to get the players' perspective on tonight's game through 2 periods. Let's go back to Rexall to hear from Rebels leading scorer Brandon Sutter.
Brandon Sutter with us. It's a strange game in some ways, but if your team could stay out of the penalty box, you might be more successful than you are right now.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's been a big problem of ours all game. We got to try and stay out of the box, and so far this year that's killed us, and we got to be more disciplined than that.
I'm dying to ask you, what's it like playing for your uncle versus what it was like playing for your dad, and who was louder?
It's pretty similar. They kind of got the same mentalities and same kind of personalities. So they both demand hard work, and it's pretty similar styles. So I don't know who's louder, but they can both get pretty anxious if things aren't going good.
Brandon, you're having a nice start here this year. What's the biggest thing you want to get out of this season for yourself?
Well, I just want to, obviously every year you want to get better and you want to win, and so far we haven't done enough of that, but, personally I just want to make sure I get better and, hopefully give myself a chance to move on in the next couple years to play as a professional.
all the best to you, and congrats on all your successes so far.
Okay, thank you very much.
Let's see what's going on around the league in the third period. Brandon and PA tied at 4. Tyler Dittmer, Matt Lowry, a goal and assist for the Wheat Kings. James Dobrowolski, a goal and 2 assists for the Raiders. It's Regina up 2-0 on Medicine Hat. Lyndon Rowe 11 saves through 2 periods of play. Elsewhere, it's the Calgary Hitmen up 3-0 on Seattle. TJ Gagliardi has got a pair of assists. Hitmen out shooting Seattle 30-8 through 2 periods of play. PG up 1-0 on Tri-City. Parker Stansfield's got the lone goal in that game. Kamloops leading Kelowna 1-0. That in the first intermission. Tyler Shattuck has the goal, and Chilliwack and Everett scoreless after 1 period of play. Now, 23 years ago, Ray Ferraro set the WHL record for goals in a season with 108. It's a mark that most likely will never be touched. From the W, he went on to play 18 years in the NHL, finishing with 408 career goals. Now a color analyst for the Edmonton Oilers, Ferraro spends his time watching and critiquing games, as well as a big fan of the Red Deer Rebels these days, where his 16-year-old son Landon is in his first full year in the Dub. Luckily for us, Ray is at tonight's game and joins Dan and Bill right now at Rexall.
Thank you very much, Dan. You know, it was 24 years ago this year that the greatest single season of WHL scoring was put together by this guy, Ray Ferraro, who's in the building. 108 goals. Ray, it's early November. Do you remember how many you had at this time of that 108 goal year? Did you have 50 by now?
No, I think probably in the 30s, but completely different game, Dan. I mean, it was the game now bears very little resemblance to the one 25 years ago.
What do you remember most about that year, though?
A couple of things, honestly. One, that I got traded from the Portland Winterhawks, and I was devastated to go to Brandon. It was so far from home, and I'd never been that far away, and so I was really nervous when I got there. The second thing is I met Ron Hextall, and you know, he's been a good friend for 25 years, and we took a team that really was, you know, a team that had been kind of dragging in the basement of the Eastern Conference. We went into the playoffs, and it seemed everything that I shot that year went in. And you know, I was healthy, I played a lot, I had an opportunity to play with good players, and man, I mean, I would have never dreamed 100 goals would ever come in one season, and I was pretty pleased with it, and I'm proud of it still to today.
Hey Ray, Cam Plant was a defenseman on your hockey club. He had 118 assists. Tell me, and by the way, Cam with a son that plays in the WHL too, Alex in Calgary. Tremendous chemistry between a guy like him and you. Talk about that a little bit and tell me, why is that not possible today?
Well, first of all, with Cam, I mean, he was a big, strong man, but he could pass the puck like no one I had played with anywhere in my career to that point. On the power play, he'd get the puck on his stick, I'd find a seam, and Cam would have it on my stick. He would just devastate teams penalty killing. And why is that chemistry not possible today? A couple of reasons, really. I believe the players today are coached to such the nth degree that they're not allowed to make a mistake with the puck. They always have to chip the puck forward. They don't want anybody hanging on to the puck. To me, I learned through making a multitude of mistakes. So you build chemistry by making mistakes and finding out how do you go forward from there. You watch the way the game's played now, even from the youngest levels, and everybody is taught when you don't have a clear play, chip it up the boards, go get it.
Yeah.
I was always taught, you got the puck, hold on to it. Why do you want to give it to the other guys?
Okay, minute to go here. What's it like watching your son? And by the way, it's our first look on Shaw, and nice of him to score a goal on Shaw tonight.
You know what, Dan? It's I just love watching Landon and his brother Matt play. I mean, it's the most fun that I have. I'm so proud of both of them. And when I watch Landon play, it's really hard not to see glimpses of what could be. You know, he's 16 years old. He's 160 pounds. I mean, he runs into the corner against some of these 20-year-olds, and I mean, he gets bounced around like a pinball. But that's to come in the future. I mean, I just love watching him play. To be honest with you, he's a better player at 16 than I was. He's got great instincts, and really that's the strength of his game.
Ray, one quick question, 10 seconds or less. You analyze his goal tonight.
Good puck pursuit, and as soon as he turned in the corner, he had a nose for where he wanted to go, and quick release, watch his heads up the whole way. Not like the old man, he was watching where he was going.
And 16 years from now, you can do it again with young Riley. Thanks, Ray. Thanks for doing this.
You betcha.
He and his wife, Cammie Granato, have a newborn in the last year, a one-year-old Riley. Let's look at the highlights of the second period, Bill, and no goals in that period.
No, you know, you got a different Edmonton team on the rush. There's a shot that goes wide of the goaltender, but I like the way Figren moves that puck. This is a good play to the net. You'll see Vincer on a nice place coming down that left wing. This is a 16-year-old we're talking about. Look at him cut to the front of the net. Boy, oh boy, he's going to be a huge player in Edmonton. And then coming down the right side, you see another rush. This is that same play. Look at him protect that puck and go hard to the net. You like players that do that. And again, this is Figren coming down that right side, taking that puck. But the Rebels have been able to keep that puck to the outside. Clark's done a nice job of keeping stuff clean from the front of the net area. And again, the shot, much better penalty kill, I thought, by the Rebels that period. But again, I think they got to stay out of the box. Hey, a one-timer would have been great right there. We may have been tied at 3. Instead, it's still a Red Deer 1-goal lead.
And the shots in that period, Edmonton 11, Red Deer 10. No scoring in the second, all of it in the first. And we get ready to go to the third in a 1-goal hockey game. You're watching the Western Hockey League. Our thanks, by the way, again to Ray Ferraro. It's the Western Hockey League from Edmonton on Shaw. Dan Russell with Bill Wilms back in Edmonton. Our producer is Dave Roberts. Our director is Sean Dunham, and the entire Shaw crew here in Edmonton. Thank you for joining us tonight as the Edmonton Oil Kings and Red Deer Rebels, two Central Division teams doing battle. 3-2 the score as you look at the two goaltenders. Edmonton is a team that hasn't scored a lot of goals. It's a first-year team, 59 goals on the season starting play, and their head coach Steve Flo talked about their lack of offense prior to tonight's game.
Well, I think the one area we can be better is the power play. You can always generate offense on the power play, and it needs to be there for you, especially at key times. You know, we scored a power play goal with 39 seconds to go the other night to take a 2-1 lead, but that was our first one in 7 chances, and you know that's not acceptable. So that's one area, and the other area is we can generate more shots. We don't average a lot of shots on net throughout a game, and by getting shots, you create second and third chances, and that's what we need to do is get some garbage goals.
So Steve Flo looking for a garbage goal, any kind of goal to tie this game up, Bill, but lots of time still remaining, 1 period, and I think 5-on-5, though, that's got to concern him a little bit here tonight, as right away, Red Deer gets an opportunity, and that shot just going wide of the net, shot by Brennan Sawney. Sawney, one of the newcomers in this lineup for Red Deer, as he plays his first game and watches Clark cover up in his own zone.
Strauss-Herb WHL on Shaw is brought to you by the Strauss-Herb Company of Products. Trust the tradition.
Dan, I find it boggling. The fewest home games so far. That Edmonton's now going to play 18 of their next 21 at Rexall Place. But I told you earlier, I'm going to tell you they're going to pay for it at the end of the season. I think it's 19 of their last 23 on the road. Well, that's going to be tough for an expansion team.
This is the key part of their schedule. They're going to stay in the conference. Remember, top 8 make it, and they're sitting right at the, well, they're tied for 8th right now, heading into tonight's action. And as we start this period, the J.D. Watt penalty is still in effect. And so Edmonton working on what we have as their 7th power play of the hockey game.
One of the keys to having a good power play is to not skate with the puck too much. You know, that slows it down a little bit. Good quick puck movement. Move that puck tape to tape. You see good power plays don't use the boards much for passes either.
Look at that shot, though. That was Stamler one-timing it with the fresh ice taking that pass, but it deflects off the target. Now Lee gets the puck to Figren. Figren, as he works off this near side, will dish it to the point. It is Redicke getting it back to Figren. Redicke and Figren take turns passing it back and forth to one another. And Figren says, no, I'm going to go to the net now. Got the quick low shot away. Clark made the save. Now it is Swaby back to Redicke, and the shot goes off the target. Figren jumps on the rebound, feeds the point again. Redicke back to Figren. Figren has had a lot of puck possession on this power play. Again, it's Redicke taking that shot, deflects off the target. Hustling over there was Penny, and he gets the puck down the ice.
Penny's been good. Penny's puck pursuit's been great. He's a good player on the defensive side of the puck. He's chipped in with an assist tonight.
Weyburn, Saskatchewan is his hometown. Redicke tried to gain the line. The walk penalty almost over. It does come to an end, and Red Deer survives another one. They've killed off 5 in a row, and Penny's been a big reason, and Clark has also been a big reason in the net, as he's played very well for Red Deer, facing 25 shots so far. The Rebels at full strength put it right back into Edmonton territory. Watt from back of the net tried to bring it in front, but it was poked off his stick, and now it is controlled by Lockerbie as he gets it over to Swaby. Swaby from Prince Albert getting the puck to the line. Oil Kings trying to follow up. They did, but only for a moment, and it's Lewis. Lead pass for Ferraro. He took it off his skates. And now Lockerbie sends it out. Begrin tried to find McCallum. Red Deer sending it to the open wing. Back to get it, Matthew Swaby.
You know, and it even might be early in the third period with a 1-goal lead, but you know, teams kind of put you down in shutdown mode. They play a 1-2-2 trap. We'll see if that's what Red Deer goes into. They make sure they have a lot of players between the two blue lines.
There's a giveaway and a poor place to give the puck away, but they get away with it. And Ferraro starts back the other way. Nice pass onto the stick of Watt. Tries to throw it back in front of the net for Jackson, who was charging, but the pass never got there. J.D. Watt along these boards, trying to get it in front. As it's intercepted, Saskowicz will send it out and down the ice. No icing, as the puck will be handled back to the net by Morgan Clark. Clark played 21 games last year. Figures to get a lot more playing time in the net. And as Bill mentioned earlier, his father, the goaltending coach, that young man, his father is Ian Clark, the goaltending coach in Vancouver with the Canucks.
Puck protection, not so much possession. You got to protect the puck. Red Deer's got clear possession of it there. You're the guys in the white, folks. Don't give it away to a red jersey. But I like what Red Deer did after that. They got possession and actually turned that mistake into a rush up the ice with a chance at the Edmonton goal.
Oil Kings within 1. Don't be surprised if they get it to a shootout tonight, because they lead the Western Hockey League in shootouts in terms of appearances. They've already had 6 of them this year.
And I'm telling you, the guy they acquired, Brendan Sonny, there's a hook. Now,
Not called.
Not called.
My goodness, 2 referees. Was one waiting for the other one to call it? Because the referees were equally apart from that infraction in the neutral zone. That's, I think, what drives people a little crazy with this so-called new hockey zero tolerance. They'll see a weak penalty call and then one like that in the open ice, and they just can't figure out why either referee didn't call it.
Yeah, I mean, that's as blatant a penalty I thought as there's been
in the hockey
in the game so far tonight. But again, you know, Dan, these referees do generally a pretty good job. They've got a lot. It's the only profession in the world. You got to be perfect the first night and get better after that. So it's tough to do.
Red Deer in no particular rush to move the puck. They do get it down the ice. They were able to tip it before it became an icing. Dallin Flatt in the Edmonton goal. He replaced Alex Archibald after the first period, after Archibald allowed 3 goals on 10 shots. And all of them coming in the last 5 minutes of that first period. Scarborough back to chase down the loose puck. And Scarborough is from North Saanich, British Columbia. Ends up inside the Edmonton line. Well, when I see Stamler on the ice, I still think of him in a Seattle uniform. He had, what, 280 games with the Seattle Thunderbirds?
Brenton Stamler always played in the shadows of Thomas Hickey, Scott Jackson on defense in Seattle. Those were 2 drafted players. Delayed penalty coming up against the Oil Kings.
Oh, there is that penalty that wasn't called in the neutral zone. Now we have an interference on McCallum, and Red Deer will get to their 4th power play of the hockey game.
Well, here's the one that wasn't called. McCallum is the guy going off for the Oil Kings, but this is what we were talking about. Let's see. Is this a dive? Is that embellished? I'm not so sure. I think maybe it was a call, but certainly this one here wasn't missed. And it's the Red Deer Rebels with a face-off inside the Oil King zone with 14:35 left, third period, and 1-goal lead. They go on the power play.
Edmonton able to shoot the puck back down the ice. By the way, Edmonton beat Swift Current and Moose Jaw in their long road trip. Lost their other 4 games, but they picked up 5 of a possible 12 points as they had their longest road trip of the season through the Eastern Division. It's always fun to go through the East, see those rinks. Swift Current expanding their rink in the one end zone. Moose Jaw, they still have the same roof there, Bill.
Is it getting any lower?
I don't think so, unless there's a little snow. But we know there's no snow in Saskatchewan to speak of yet. At least there wasn't when they were playing football there the other day.
The main thing is there is no snow in this city right now. It's getting cold enough to be that. You know, you really get the feeling at this point, if the Rebels could get 1 goal here, this could be a 2-goal deficit, might be a real deep hole for the Oil Kings to dig out of. And again, it just amazes me. We've talked about 17 of all the Rebel games this year have been 1-goal games. Well, guess what, folks? They're in one here tonight.
As they shoot the puck in, they still have 45 seconds to work with on this power play. Morin on the far side tries to play it down low. CPAC intercepts as it's sent around to this side. Nice little job on the forecheck by Brennan Sawney. Sawney, by the way, had 2 goals with his former team, both shorthanded and both empty netters.
We talked about a shootout. Brendan Sawney got 6 goals out of 8 attempts on the shootout. I think he's got the best percentage since the shootout was incorporated of all scorers. So that might come into play even in a game like this. But I think at this point the regular Rebels will be happy with that puck right where it is. Power play or no power play?
Really? Well, the power play is no power play anymore because it's at full strength. But right after the penalty expires, there's their best chance. It was Thomas Polak getting the opportunity. Now Clark out of his net to sweep that puck away. And Ray gets the puck. Brendan Ray getting it out to center, playing his 234th Western Hockey League game.
Dan, one thing you look for, you know, at any time during the season is some team speed off the rush. If you haven't got the speed, you can't back a team up. You can't back the defense up, and it makes it tough to gain possession in the offensive zone and give yourself some time and space.
Now that Edmonton's back in full strength, let's see if they can mount anything 5-on-5. They haven't been able to do much against Red Deer 5-on-5 here tonight in terms of generating scoring chances. But here looks like a potential chance as they have Fegrin out there. Got into a little traffic. Dowd in the corner. He's tied up. Fegrin goes to try to help out as he's bodied a little bit. Egner trying to get up to get the puck. And finally Ray gets it to Scarborough. Scarborough checked for a moment, but he gets the puck up, and it's controlled by Smith. Red Deer bringing his in over the line. Ray to Kirkovich. His shot knocked down by Flett, held in by Red Deer, at least for a moment. Now they bring it out themselves as we near the 9-minute mark of the 3rd period. Oil Kings. Redicke, lead pass going down the ice. Is not going to be icing as the puck slowed down a little bit, and now the Red Deer player a little upended. And a long shot from center handled by Clark. Very few whistles really here in the 3rd period as we're marching along pretty quickly. And Red Deer likes to see that tick-tick going off the clock as we near the midway part of the period. Ferraro's long pass to the open wing. Tyler Penny tried to chase it down, could not. Here's Redicke. Nicely hit by Ferraro, taken out of the play. And the puck shot down the ice. Again, no icing, so the clock continues to tick here. And Edmonton, a little bit of chance to move it out as Red Deer was completing a change. Lee trying to glove it down, cannot. And here come the Rebels. J.D. Watt stick handling, gets the puck back again. Watt throws it at the net. Flatt is going to hold on, and he's going to stop the play with 9:57 to go in the 3rd period. It's the Red Deer Rebels 3 and the Edmonton Oil Kings 2. It's WHL Hockey on Shaw. We're just back into game action after Red Deer won an offensive zone faceoff. We'll get another one in the Edmonton zone.
Red Deer winning after 40 minutes has not happened a lot this year. That's only a situation they've been in 5 times. They've won 3 of those games. Edmonton losing after 2 periods has happened 12 times. They've come back with 1 regulation time win. So Red Deer very, very happy putting, you know, the clamps on, being a real good checking team that they are. They love these offensive zone face-offs, and they'll make you pay for it if you don't make a good breakout pass right now, and they stay on that puck. Good forecheck.
Red Deer, Lewis in tight, try to get it in the slot area. Fegren with speed going back the other way and chasing it down. Fegren working with Saskowicz. Fegren off those boards. He's been operating a lot off the boards. This is Bright Cruz now. Going to the net. Comes back to Swaby. Long shot. That tips off the target. Oil Kings trying to jump on it here on the near boards. Brendan Ray tying up his man, but Edmonton coming up with the puck at least for a moment. Comiskey was knocked down. Clay Comiskey, whose brother plays for the Colorado Avalanche. A penalty coming up. Red Deer has touched the puck, and another hooking penalty, and Red Deer still leading in the game 3-2, but not because they're staying out of the penalty box.
Now, this is not a smart penalty again. Carter Smith, it's great to see Carter Smith back, by the way. He was a guy that was driving that car in that Moose Jaw crash with Perricone and Robinson, but this is a hook put on by Carter Smith, and this is a terrific opportunity, huge opportunity right now for the team in Red Deer Oil Kings. There's the call right there.
We have them on their 8th power play. Here's Fegren to Stamler. A shot on the far wall turned aside, or did it? No, it went off the boards and then out of play, so the faceoff will come outside the blue line as Reddicky missed the net.
You know, Stamler's been exactly what this hockey team has needed as a captain for Edmonton, and he says he's got to find a way, Stamler does, to make sure that he gets signed. He wants to play hockey for a living one day, and Stamler, pretty good defenseman on the ice right now for Steve Plow in his Seattle, or in his Edmonton Oil King Hockey Club. That's him with the puck possession. It's important now for that Edmonton team, Danny. Get the puck where it is now, get some possession of it. That's just an easy clear by the Rebels.
Stamler not expected to score goals. He has 12 assists, though he leads the team in that area. And here's Brent Reddicky. Reddicky shoots the puck in. And Jeff Lee digging it free along with Dowd. Dowd from back of the goal. They always try to find Fegren along this half wall. To Stamler, back to Fegren. Back to Stamler. There's the shot, deflects twice, and it just goes wide of the net. Jeff Lee with a great opportunity. Maybe the best Oil Kings opportunity in 2 periods. He was right on the doorstep and put it wide of a wide open net. And now Fegren comes out, but not for long. Here he comes with speed. Fegren going in around the back of the net and then is knocked off balance ever so slightly. Cepek holding the puck in. Bright Cruz shot. Good kick save there by Clark. And the puck is sent down the ice.
Yeah, Clark in good position, fires that pad out. Nice rebound. If you're going to give up a rebound, give it up about 30 feet in front of you, then players will skate right past it. He did exactly that.
Puck shot back in.
2 men on the forecheck. Get possession of it.
And they're just looking at the penalty clock. 15 seconds remaining. That clock has been on and off through the night. Cepek shooting, deflects. Puck is sitting there for Vinsor, but he just couldn't get it to lie flat on the stick. Lockerbie. Now Cepek. Penalty over. Cepek shot, scores! Cameron Cepek scores the goal, not officially a power play goal, but almost as good as, and the game is tied 3-3.
Watch this release by Cepek. The penalty's over right about now. This is just a big-time shot. Snapper right in that top corner. I don't know if I've seen any guy shoot that puck any harder than this shot by Cepek right here. Head up. Man, that thing is zipped up there in a hurry. That's his second of the night. We're tied at 3.
13:08 came 6 seconds after the penalty had expired. So Red Deer basically have allowed 3 goals tonight while shorthanded. And it's his 4th of the year, 2 tonight.
Number 24, Craig McCallum. And number 11, Brandon Lockerbie. Time of the goal, 13:08.
So at 13:08 of this third period, the game is tied 3-3, and it was almost snapped there by Brandon Sutter as he one-timed that shot. And that went wide of the goal. No icing here as it goes on to goaltender Clark. And now Red Deer will try to start out of their own zone. They do, but they just fire it down the ice for an icing. Not sure why they did that, but the faceoff will come back into Red Deer territory.
You know, if this game does go to a shootout, there's no team in the Western Hockey League that's been in more of them than the Edmonton Oil Kings. They've been in 6 in the 22 games they played. They're 3-3 on it. Probably a little bit of time obviously left before that does happen, but you know, I think it's important now with 5:55 left. If either team gets one more power play, I think in this particular situation, even though CPEC's goal was not a power play goal, I think, Dan, with the game on the line, another power play emotionally would lift one team enough that they'd likely score on it. That's just a gut feeling. But that guy behind the net, CPEC's had a good game. He's chased a bit defensively on a couple of the goals that Red Deer have scored, but he's got some offense.
Lee coming out of his own zone. Fegrin trying to find Lee back in front, and now the net will come off its support as Lewis crashed into his own net, but there was an Edmonton player there too, and it looks like we're going to get a penalty out of this as well. I'm not sure who the referees are going to spot here, because it looked like the Red Deer player took the net off himself. Red Deer might get the only penalty.
This is some good speed. This is what Edmonton's done really well. They catch, I believe, Mark Lewis, number 8 white, standing at the blue line. Nice play by Figrin to try to get it to the front of the net to Jeff Lee. And as that play is blown down around the net, I looked up and Mark Lewis was putting a pretty good hit right there on the Edmonton Oil King player, Jeff Lee, and I think that is the only penalty. No, yeah, it's the only penalty being called on that play, but that's the quickness. This is what Edmonton Oil King team, Danny, is a little quicker than Red Deer. They've got some jump. They generate some offense coming out of the net, but Lewis did not like the way that player crashed into the net and made Lee pay for it.
It's the 9th penalty tonight for Red Deer. And in a 3-3 tie, by the way, Red Deer is the only team without a shorthanded goal in the entire Western Hockey League. This might be a good time to snap that for them. They've certainly had a lot of practice shorthanded here tonight.
Yeah, you see, that's just Jeff Lee taking Lewis right into the net. He didn't like what happened there, and that's why the penalty was called. Right there, watch the collision.
And
keep
then
it
the
going,
extracurricular.
And then the extracurricular, you're right there. Yeah, this is it's good power play practice, good penalty kill practice. I don't know who's winning that battle tonight.
Well, I mean, we already heard from Brian Sutter, the Red Deer coach, in the telecast, and that was 6 penalties ago, Bill, and he wasn't happy then.
I'm surprised. I mean, I really am. It's you want to play on that line or close to the edge of the line, and coaches know that players aren't any good unless they do play with that aggressiveness, but boy, when the game's on the line, you maybe got to play a little bit smarter. Wow, here we go.
The rebel penalty to number 8, Mark Lewis.
All right, let's see how Edmonton does on this one. It comes back to Lockerbie, or Redicke, I should say. Now Fegrin being bodied off the puck. Nice job by Redicke to hold the puck in. Let's see if this will lead to something. Fegrin back to Stamler. Oh, and he fans on the shot. And a potential break the other way, but the goalie way out. Fleck way out to clear that puck, and good thing he got a little height on it as well, because there was a Red Deer player, and it's not just any old Red Deer player. That was Sutter looking to see if he might come up with something shorthanded. Meantime, Fegrin down for Lee, and it misses him, and it'll go back into Edmonton territory.
Still a minute left, minute and 5 seconds if you've got a power play you've got some confidence in, you're usually not too worried about the fact you get the second chance that has to start 200 feet away. They're complaining about too many men on the ice. Red Deer is, they may have had a point.
Shots in this third period, 8 for Edmonton, 4 for Red Deer.
The guy with the puck right there, he's got 2 goals tonight. Let's see if they can get him that puck back at the blue line. That's Seapick.
California boy, one of many in the Western Hockey League.
Hard to believe he's only been skating. He was 4 years. He played roller hockey until he was 13.
Yeah.
And then 17 years old. 4 years later, he's drafted in the National Hockey League.
That's an amazing story.
Who says you got to play this game at 3 and 4 years old?
Bright Cruz feeding the point, and a long shot going over top the net. Nice job by Bright Cruz to stay on it. Vinsor helping out there as well. Bright Cruz with some room now. Plays it to Lockerbie. Lockerbie to Seapeck. Shot. That is turned aside by Clark. Vinsor from back at the goal. Again to the line. Penalty over. Lockerbie long shot off the target. Oil Kings try to center it. Bright Cruz taken off the puck by Lewis. And Edmonton now officially 2 for 9. I should say unofficially, but they also have their third goal coming just seconds after one of their power plays had expired. So virtually all their goals on the power play. And with 3 minutes to go in the third period, Doucette in the offensive zone for Red Deer. To Landon Ferraro. He dishes off the puck and heads to the front of the net. Meantime, the Red Deer player tied up by Seapeck, knocked down, but the play is allowed to continue. Egner goes back to get the puck. J.D. Watt. For Doucette, rolls off his stick to Swaby. Swaby will get it back again from inside his own blue line. Halukov now gets it inside the Red Deer zone. Scarborough back to chase it.
And neither team has overwhelmed the other team with even 2 or 3 continuous shifts in the other team's zone, has it? It's been really up and down. In other words, it's been spotty. And goals are coming in, you know, as we've already alluded to, most of them off the power play, but it's been really tough for one team to dominate the other in any one zone.
Now, we were here on opening night in September, and it was 3-3 late in the third, and we thought we were heading for overtime. And the faceoff was deep in Edmonton territory with about 10 seconds to go, and they came up the ice and scored with 1 second to go. And you know what, Bill? They've done that twice this year. Scored goals with 1 second to go to win. That one and one in Calgary as well. So
message there for Red Deer, stay focused.
Yeah.
Saskowicz scored that goal that night. That's the only goal he has scored all season. He'd love to get another one.
Lee flips it over the glass. Neutral zone faceoff coming up.
Well, both coaches know that with 1:29 left now in the tie game, they got to put the guys on the ice that they trust the most in this situation. The guys that you know are not going to turn the puck over. Certainly not going to turn the puck over in the offensive zone more than anything. Face-off back at center. 32-25 shots on goal favoring the Oil Kings, who I think have maybe been a little bit better skating club of the two tonight.
But that's kind of gone in spurts too.
Yes, it has, absolutely.
Scarborough from the line is knocked down by Fegren. Swaby deep in his own zone. Going in there is Brennan Ray. 16 for Red Deer. He digs it out, gets it in front, a shot, they score! Carter Smith banging it home. It comes with 1:06 to go, and that's just a result of good work down low. Red Deer leads 4-3.
Well, they do the job right there. Look at the right side of your screen. There's a battle. There's 2-on-2. Now, who's going to win a 2-on-2 battle? And, you know, the white-shirted Rebels come away with it. Lucky bounce. It bounces up into the shin pads, I think, of number 9, Thomas Polak there. And you take a look at where this puck ends up. I think it bounces off the skate. Actually, he steps on the puck, almost falls down with the puck under his blade and gets it to the side of the net for Carter Smith. And good for Carter Smith. This is his first game that he's playing in a Red Deer Rebel uniform.
Well, let's pick up the announcement.
The Rebel goal scored by number 15, Carter Smith. With the assist to number 9, Thomas Polak. And to number 16, Brennan Ray. And the goal 18-15.
So now the goalie's out for the extra attacker. J.D. Watt's able to force it out, 40 seconds to go, and here's J.D. Watt, empty net chance on the backhand, goes wide of the goal. Watt following it up, throws it in front of the net, and now the puck comes out to the neutral zones. Shot back in again. Edmonton, 25 seconds to work with, that's all they've got now, 20 seconds, and now J.D. Watt again touches the puck, it's offside at the blue line.
18.3 left. Again, it's been really weird. There's been some plays off the rush that have generated an offense. There's been plays off the corner wall, like that last one by Carter Smith, that worked their way to the front of the net. One thing about Red Deer, you know they're going to keep working. They haven't been a very disciplined hockey team tonight, but they found a way to take a 4-3 lead to this point of the hockey game.
And as the faceoff is again won by Red Deer, is there a buzzer beater left in Edmonton for one more here on Shaw? Down to Vinsor. Tries to get it in front, moved away. Nice job at the line by Swaby. He throws it at the net, but the game will end with that chance at the side of the goal, and Red Deer wins their 5th game on the road. Scoring late, Carter Smith with 1:06 to go, and they win 4-3 against the Oil Kings.
They stuck with it. It's one thing about Coach Sutter's teams. You're not going to find them quitting again. Amazingly, Dan, I think that's 18 times at this point they've won one-goal games or been in one-goal games, and they found a way to get it done here tonight.
4-3 Rebels over the Oil Kings. Stay tuned. We'll have more coming up. You're watching the Western Hockey League on Shaw. Back at Rexall Place, thanks for being with us tonight. It was a late goal in the third period with a minute to go for Red Deer as they get a 4-3 victory on the road in the first game back after a long trip for Edmonton. And it was kind of a game that it could have gone either way, I really thought, tonight.
Well, yeah, it could have. It was a team, I think, in Red Deer's defense today. They had a lot of problems staying out of the box. I don't think you're going to get away with playing that undisciplined hockey too many nights, but it's an Edmonton team that has got a lot of firepower up front, but you know, it's 6 in a row for the Rebels, and finally on the road, rather, now they get a chance to go home and play some games in Red Deer. But yeah, it was a good battle all right through the final 60 minutes, I thought.
I thought Calgary was on their way, or Edmonton was on their way to an overtime. CPAC getting 2 goals tonight, 2 big ones.
Yeah, you know, in that last chance they got on the power play, Dan, they tried to get it back to him, but his shots weren't quite as effective. But he was good. I thought they fired the puck Lockerbie from the blue line. It looked like a pretty good power play by the Oil Kings in certain spurts. But, you know, a guy like Brandon Sutter, you know, he does the little things well, Dan. I mean, he killed penalties a lot tonight. Had he not been on the ice for as many times as he was to kill a penalty, it may not have turned out even the way the game did. But I thought Sutter was terrific tonight.
Okay, it was a late third period goal. We're going to look at the game-winning goal one more time for you as Edmonton had just tied the game, Bill.
Well, they get it to the front. It's never a bad thing to get it to that point right there. And, you know, as Polak actually ended up stepping on the puck, but Carter Smith does a good job. His first game in a Red Deer Rebel uniform. He's been playing Tier 2 hockey, and, you know, it's a good news story for a guy, as I said earlier, was involved in a terrible car crash. He was ridden with guilt as a driver of that car in Moose Jaw, but, you know, he got traded. I believe he got traded Edmonton, or Everett, rather, and then ended up playing in the Saskatchewan Junior League. And I think that's a pretty good feel-good story for him to come back here and score the winning goal tonight.
Indeed, and you know, I mean, Red Deer wins this game, but boy, they sure flirted with losing. You just can't take that many penalties, and many of the penalties were really not the kind of penalties coaches like, you know, that stop scoring plays. They were just kind of away from anything dangerous and undisciplined, really.
That's it. They were very undisciplined, and you know, Brian Sutter has much said so when we talked to him, and again, I think they may feel a little fortunate that they were able to still get this game because they can't spend that much time in the penalty box. But that's the Western Hockey League, and you know, that's what makes it obviously fun. The game on the line right to the last 2 minutes. Is that going to happen every time we do Edmonton Oil King games? Wow.
It was definitely on the line here tonight. But Red Deer winning their very first road game against the Edmonton Oil Kings. These two teams just 90 minutes apart down the highway, and they'll, I'm sure, establish a great rivalry in the years to come. Let's go back to you, Dan, at WHL Central.
All right, thanks, guys. Great job as usual. Time now to take a look at the Cal Tire 3 stars, your first star tonight. Brandon Sutter, he just had 1 assist, but a big impact guy. Throughout the game, the second star, Cam Seepeck for the Oil Kings, he had a pair of goals on the night. And the third star, Brandon Lockerbie, had a goal and 2 assists for Edmonton. Unfortunately, it was in a losing cause. There are your Cal Tire 3 stars. All right, we have to take a quick break, but we will come back to check in on the out-of-town scoreboard one more time and wrap things up for our game here tonight. What's going on around the rest of the league? 6 other games tonight. It was the Brandon Wheat Kings defeating the Prince Albert Raiders 5-4 in a shootout. Matt Calvert had the winner for the Wheaties. It was Regina scoring with 5 seconds left. Michael McAngus on the power play to give the Pats a 3-2 win. Tim Krause had an assist. He's got points in 12 of the Pats' last 13 games. The Hitmen were 3-0 winners over Seattle. Dan Spence, 21 saves for his first shutout of the season. PG, Tri-City, 1-1. That game, the second intermission. Parker Stansfield scoring for the Cougars. Peter Stoklasa has got the goal for the Americans. It's a 1-1 game between the Rockets and Blazers. Jamie Benn for the Rockets. Tyler Shattuck for Kamloops. And Chilliwack and Everett, no score in the second period of play. Of course, in our game tonight, it was the Red Deer Rebels defeating the Edmonton Oil Kings 4-3. Carter Smith scored with 1:06 to play. That was your winner. Thomas Pollock had a goal and an assist for the Rebels. They got just their 6th victory of the season. They improved to 2-0 versus the Oil Kings on the year. Brandon Lockerbie, a goal and 2 assists for Edmonton, as well as Cam Seebeck with a pair of goals. Power plays big on the night. Edmonton 2 for 9. Red Deer 2 for 4.
Strauss-Herb WHL Hockey is live on Shaw. Watch Friday, November 16th when the Lethbridge Hurricanes look to blow away the Saskatoon Blades. Strauss-Herb WHL Hockey, only on Shaw.
Western Canada. Close to 250 WHL grads are using Western Hockey League scholarships across the country. The WHL, guaranteed scholarships and world-class hockey.